Have you or a loved one been injured in an accident? Are you struggling to recover fair compensation? Look no further. At Phillips Law Firm, the experienced personal injury attorneys will fight for your rights and get you the justice and compensation you deserve. They handle a wide range of cases, including car accidents, slip and falls, medical malpractice, and workplace injuries. Justice is a phone call away, so don't wait. Call today for a free case review. Call 1-800-JUSTICE or visit justiceforyou.com.
Hey there, everybody. I'm Melvin Robert from the TV show Extra. Every day on our show, we talk to the biggest celebrities and the biggest newsmakers around. We get exclusive details about hookups and breakups, baby news, and the behind-the-scenes info from your favorite TV shows and movies. But we can only fit so much on our show. That's where Extra the podcast comes in. Listen and follow Extra the podcast and Odyssey Podcast on the Odyssey app or wherever you get your podcast.
What's up? It's your boy, The Ted Smith from The Men's Room. And did you know I have a podcast? Well, I do. The Podcast. New episodes uploaded every Wednesday on the Odyssey app.
Unfortunately, what you're about to hear is real. The members of this radio program are simply not that bright, or what some people would call educated. They are merely stupid. They're not trying to offend anyone on purpose. And all have played doctors on TV. You have been warned and are cordially invited to join the party. This is the Men's Room.
Forget it, man, and get with the countdown. Get with the countdown. Shake this square world and blast off for Kicksville. The trippers, the grasshoppers, the hip ones, all gathered in secrecy and flying high as a kite.
This is the Men's Room with Miles and Thrill. You know what they say, shake your radio more than 3 times, and you're playing with it. You're listening to the Men's Room.
And away we go. Welcome to season 18, episode number 3946. Along with Steve the Thrill Hill, the Ted Smith, and my cock, Montgomery. And you are the Men's Room. On tap today, it is a random question. Your guess is as good as mine. Categories include the sexiest jobs and delicious cheese. We will play Profile This, plus headlines, Men's Room shot of the day, fun listener emails, and everyone's favorite, TV Time with Ted.
Click, clack.
Drink, get the drunk. All right, here we go. A burglar takes a break from robbing a home to hang out with a family dog. Meanwhile, triathlon athletes hit the water to swim, and hey, look, there's a floating log. Seems like the Juanita Chip Company is now selling edible brooms. Wife is buried beside man who never spent any time in her womb. And a dog driving a golf cart runs over a 4-year-old little girl. That is all coming on today's very special episode of The Men's Room.
And now, here's the question.
Hola, bitches. Good day to you and yours. All right, a large chunk of the East Coast is under a warning of, quote, extreme weather. Basically, 80 million people are at risk for dangerous winds, flash flooding, and isolated tornadoes. Oh, and hail. Now, things aren't much better in South Korea. We're following a crippling heat wave. They're now bracing for the arrival of a tropical storm. Now, complicating matters is the fact that South Korea is currently hosting 36,000 Boy Scouts from 158 countries as part of the World Scout Jubilee. But now they're trying to figure out how and where to evacuate them all. Now, I just feel bad for the Scouts who've been looking forward to this event for a year. Now, there's a couple from the United Kingdom. They'd been looking forward to their trip to a 5-star resort in the Dominican Republic. But now the resort is offering them $255 and therapy. Yes, therapy after their visit. It seems that during their brief stay, they were constantly offered drugs. Do not see the problem. And were witness to public sex. Don't see the problem. People puking and pooping in the hotel pool. And, for good measure, they saw a corpse under a sheet after a guest fell from a hotel balcony. Good times. Good times. Now, these are just some of the stories that we've come across, but the stories have left us with many questions. Questions we'd like to ask you in the form of our random question, and this is how it works. You call us, we'll ask you a question at complete random. And after you share your story, we will share the news story that inspired said question.
Be a part of the big show, the Random Question. Call 206-803-ROCK. Like the Men's Room on Facebook, follow us on Twitter and Instagram at Men's Room Live, and send your emails to the Men's Room at KISW.com.
The debauchery rolls on. You're listening to the Men's Room with Miles and Thrill. 99.9 KISW.
Oh, but y'all's away we go. Welcome to Season 18, Episode number 3,946. What a large and in charge program we have for you today. Guaranteed future repeat. Exciting return of your guess is as good as mine. What are our categories today? What do we have for you? All right. We have the jobs that women consider sexy.
Oh, all right.
And also the jobs that men consider sexy.
Nurse.
They're very different.
Yes, I can believe that.
They really are. If you're a woman, you like something a little bit different. If you're a man, you like something a little bit different too. But yeah, so if you're looking for a sexy job, we have the 10 best for the women, 10 best for the men. So there's one category. Then we have the top 10 best cheeses of all time.
All time.
The 10 favorite cheeses.
In the U.S. or world?
I believe this would be world because they put this up on the internet. So I'm assuming that everybody got a fair crack.
Still makes it difficult. In the U.S., I feel like I could nail it. Internationally, I don't know what people want.
I don't either. And it depends on, again, it depends on the area. When if you're in Wisconsin, people like different cheeses than they do if you're, say, in Italy, which they do say.
If you go to Mexico, you're thinking like cheddar, because that's what we get. And they're like, no, man, cojita.
Right.
Which kind of has no taste, but somehow you like it.
Mm-hmm. It's nice and mild. It's not a bad cheese at all.
It's not bad. I can't explain it. It's like if tofu were real, it'd be cojita cheese.
And Mike, you've been cooking nothing but Greek food lately, so it's feta or bust in your world. So it just depends on the kind of cheese you like.
Do Greeks use other cheese? Because you're right. If you say Greece, I think feta. There's got to be something else they like, right?
I mean, I'm sure there is, but I feel like feta is it's like when you come to the States, generally it's either going to be American or cheddar, right?
Or Swiss or provolone.
Mm-hmm. They're
right.
Yeah,
you're right. It will be American and cheddar first. If you're like a sandwich place, they'll offer the Swiss and provolone. Obviously, mozzarella shows up a lot, but I feel like we know that. I feel like in Greek, like anytime I've had a Greek dish, and I hate most of Greek cooking, but inevitably the cheese, feta, period.
Yeah.
No questions asked.
Yep, absolutely.
And I'm okay with that.
So the top 10 favorite cheeses of all time and the sexiest jobs. Those are the categories coming up on Your Guess is as Good as Mine. And of course, as we do Monday through Friday, we give you more Men's Room exclusively on the Odyssey app. Get ready for the Men's Room Happy Hour. Episode number 440 today. And we've got some props of the weekend. I know we all had some busy weekends, so we'll go over some of the fun we had and why we feel like ass today. Coming up with the Men's Room Happy Hour. If you don't have the Odyssey app, by the way, download it now. It's absolutely free. Go to the Men's Room page. There's tons of stuff on there. The Men's Room Happy Hour channel only goes live at 6. Keep that in mind. And keep in mind, there's a reason it's labeled explicit, and that's because of Ted's potty mouth.
Yep.
So be sure not to have kids in the room or anything like that if you're listening to the Men's Room Happy Hour. That's on you, man. But we're telling you, there's a reason it's labeled that way. The rules that apply on these airwaves don't apply there. So we're able to have a little bit more freedom as far as what we're talking about and how exactly we express ourselves. So correct. If you do not have the Odyssey app, download it now. It's absolutely free. We'll see you coming up at 6 o'clock for the Men's Room Happy Hour. What else do we have for you today? Oh, it's that pesky random question. 206-803-ROCK.
By the way, people are throwing in the cheeses. Cougar Gold cheese, right?
That's fantastic.
Cougar Gold is phenomenal.
But outside of here, man, a lot of people don't know about it. I had never heard of it when I lived on the East Coast. And when you get, if you back in the old days, you'd land in Hawaii on a flight and they put a layer on your neck. Right. I swear, when you land in Seattle, it's like they hand you a block of Cougar Gold cheese and a Dick's Deluxe.
Well, the Cougar Gold cheese, too. If you go to a QFC sometimes, go to their cheese section, which I enjoy going to a good cheese section.
If I have to go to the grocery store, I will go to the cheese section.
Well, especially QFCs, they got that Murray stand.
They got a lot of, and they do sell the whole
There's
wheel.
like a cheese store inside of the store.
Exactly.
See, QFC, that might get me to go.
Little town, they got some meats in there and everything else. But they will divide up the Cougar Gold cheese so that you don't have to buy the entire tin.
Right,
correct. You can just buy a smaller chunk of it, so you don't have to go all in if you don't want to. So let's see here.
They still going to make that, you think?
What's that?
Oh, Cougar Gold cheese, since they don't really have a conference.
And it's going to be outsourced somewhere.
So they didn't go anywhere, did they?
No.
They one of the last 2 or 3?
They were one of the last. So the way my day unfolded.
State, Oregon State, Stanford, and California.
I went into work, and the Pac-12 was down to the Pac-9. When we got out of work, this was on Friday, it was the Pac-4.
That's a lot of years of history. That's
1902.
That's what I'm saying. That's a whole lot just to see fade away within a month or two.
But it's money, man. Yeah. The simple line that came down to money. So, Wazoo, I know they're debating what to do, but one person said, well, they could be like Notre Dame and go independent. I'm like, but Notre Dame has a contract with the NBC. So it's easy for Notre Dame to do.
And they have since 1986.
Yeah, that's what I mean,
they've had that.
And whether you like Notre Dame or not, you can't argue that Notre Dame is college football.
Right, that's exactly it. That's why they can be independent. But I don't know that people are dying to play Wazoo is the problem.
Yep.
But we'll find out soon.
Okay.
Hello, Michael. Welcome to the men's room.
54 episodes to go, gentlemen.
Hola.
Michael, welcome to the program.
I wanted to work in a Ramones shout-out in there, but I just couldn't make the joke land.
Oh, we appreciate you not doing it then.
Yeah, exactly. You got to know
because that doesn't stop a lot of people.
That's right.
Why Ramones?
The song Submitted, I think it is.
Sedated. See, you would have blown the joke already.
I want to be submitted.
You got to know the name of the song, and then expand on the joke.
The man explained that it was not going to land, all right?
Yes.
He told us up front, and he quickly explained why.
Okay, let's go with this one. For any reason in your life, whether you were younger or maybe it was just something on doctor's orders, maybe you're getting ready to play a sport, what was your inspiration to try to get healthy or to get into shape?
Maybe we should ask, have you ever been inspired to want to get healthy or get into shape? For me, it's easy.
I think that is, in fact, a better question, but yeah. I've never really been that much of an athletic person in my life, so...
But, okay, well, then let's ask about health. So it doesn't have to be your body when we're looking at you, but as the doctor said, like, look, maybe you look good on the outside, but you're dying on the inside. Or maybe you
have high blood pressure, high cholesterol. That would be the inspiration for you to either change your diet or try to get a little bit more healthy than you are.
Yeah, I mean, I will say I think my family has a history of diabetes, and while I'm not diabetic yet, I'm really trying to avoid that being the case.
Okay, that is a very good answer to this question. Right. So as a result of that, knowing that your family has a history of diabetes, what are the things you will or will not eat as a direct relation to the potential of diabetes?
I mean, I really don't limit myself that much. I just more kind of try to limit how much I eat of any one thing. So
moderation.
Yeah.
But that's a huge thing. What are the ones where you really know you need to moderate how much you're going to eat?
Goldfish crackers. Side note, there's a box right next to me right now.
Have you tried the Old Bay goldfish crackers? They're limited time release, and obviously they're not real going to be popular out here, but I have seen them in the stores when they do it. Those are fantastic.
I've tried Old Bay, most things, but it's just the flavor's a little too strong for me is the problem.
Okay. So. Old Bay is strong. No. You know, I had a handful of goldfish for like the first time in 3 months yesterday because the kids, God forbid, they ever return anything to the kitchen. So there's a bag of goldfish. I'm like, I'll get a handful of these. They're as good as I remember, but man, it's like instant paste in your mouth. Yeah, delicious cheddary paste.
Yeah, have you had the cheddar blasted ones?
I've seen the ads for them, but no, I've not had the cheddar blasted.
All right, yeah.
Because again, that won't happen unless the kids make the request.
Reese, we asked, what was your inspiration to get in shape or to get healthy? They say it's hard to commit to losing weight. Everything from diet to exercise is not the easiest thing. But we all know Busta Rhymes.
Yeah.
He recently was doing an interview with Men's Health, and he admitted that he got serious about losing weight because he would get gassed in bed, and it was so bad, he said it was like having an asthma attack. I was having a really difficult time breathing. I was trying to inhale, and it felt like that wasn't working. I walked out of the bedroom, went into the living room, and was forcing myself to inhale to try to relax. Well, his partner at the time suggested it was his weight, saying that his breathing was also scaring her. This was a few years ago, and Busta did work hard on it. He posted a side-by-side comparison. He lost a ton of weight. He lost his gut completely. He has six-pack.
How big had he gotten? I mean, because in my mind, he still looks like Busta Rhymes we kind of grew up with.
He was a bigger guy, but he was just more all belly in this instance.
Okay, yeah.
And so when he lost the weight, he got muscular, shifted where his weight was distributed. And, I mean, he is skinny. He's got abs. He's in shape.
Good.
He looks good.
I feel like two things that get most men and most women to get into shape. And sadly, they're related. They're just on opposite ends of the spectrum. You set your wedding date, right? And at that moment, everyone decides they want to lose weight to look good for that one picture they're going to stare at. And then, should that marriage fail and you get divorced, both people go out and start working out again.
Yeah,
But,
that's
I mean,
a good call.
honest to God, like I say, a lot of people that get divorced and all of a sudden, like, go to the gym, I'm looking good. I'm like, I get it, man.
Yeah.
Because now you need to impress people again. See, when you're stuck with someone, you don't care. But when
Busta Rhymes, too, he's kind of a thick dude to begin with.
he's a thick dude. I just never knew he got that big.
But if something like sex and you can't do it because you can't breathe.
Oh, I'd lose weight in a heartbeat. If someone wants to have sex with you and you're saying, man, I really can't because I have breathing problems, I immediately go to the doctor. What do I need to do? And look, I'm not trying to look at or any of that. I want to have sex, Doc.
Yeah. When I can, I want to be able to do it.
And look, that is a universal motivator. There's a reason Viagra makes billions of dollars. Because people want to have sex.
Yes.
Random.
Hello, Matt. Welcome to the men's room.
Liquor and whores.
Liquor and whores.
Matt, welcome to the program. Random question. Let's do this one. It's the vacation season, sort of. What would you say ruined one of your vacations?
I don't really have a significant story, but I'd say the weather.
Okay.
Well, that can ruin it.
Yes,
Where were you and what was the weather that came your way?
I was moving from Southern Maryland out here to Washington in 2010, and it was like just an abnormally hot summer, no matter where we were driving.
That does suck. Especially coming from Southern Maryland, because Maryland's not cool in the summer. I mean, it's just not.
No.
Where were you where were you in Southern Maryland? Because Southern Maryland is defined normally by absolute nothingness.
Calvert County down in Lusby/Solomon's Island.
Okay, fair by Chesapeake.
Now where are you from?
All that stuff.
So where you did a road trip to get from Maryland to Seattle?
Yep.
And what route did you take to get out here?
We went through up towards West Virginia and then kind of through the Midwest, and then we ended up on I-90 going through South Dakota, and that's when I first discovered Sturgis for the first time.
Was it Sturgis weekend when you rolled through?
Yeah, it was. We found it was in the middle of nowhere off I-90 in South Dakota, and there was this random, water park resort hotel, and there was tons of bikers in the parking lot, and it was awesome.
Speaking of that, is there still a water slide at Chesapeake Beach, or they get rid of that?
I don't remember.
Okay.
It was a long time ago.
Well, let me ask you this, man. On your drive out here, because driving across the country, it is a good experience. I've done it 8 million times, whether I wanted to or not. But I have to ask, what was the coolest unexpected sight you saw, and what was absolutely just the worst thing about the ride?
Worst thing about the ride, probably passing through the Midwest, just absolutely nothing. And I mean, I can't complain about sleeping, but that was a little boring. And then best thing was, of course, we were kind of over that way, so we stopped at Mount Rushmore, and I'd never seen that before. And it's kind of crazy when it's right in front of you.
I bet it is, because you're in the middle of nowhere.
We read recently that some guy was super excited talking about the beauties of nature because he can't believe that the wind and rain eroded the mountain to look like the four presidents.
That is insane.
He was being dead
come
serious. Oh, yeah. He was like, don't talk about the miracles in nature and blah, blah, blah. With wind and rain, we got the Grand Canyon, we got Mount Rushmore. It's like, I don't think you understand that.
Monument. The reason that's what ruined your vacation. A couple say their 5-star break turned into a holiday from hell when they saw a dead body, people vomiting and defecating in the hotel swimming pool, holidaymakers having sex in public. A couple were also offered drugs during their stay in the Dominican Republic. They booked the vacation as a treat for his wife. After he complained to the vacation company, he was offered about $300 in vouchers and counseling. The couple booked a 17-day holiday at the Rue Republica Hotel in Punta Cana. Described on the website as a 5-star resort, the man said it turned out to be rife with people taking drugs, guests having sex in the pool, and what he claimed was a worrying lack of security. During their stay, the couple claimed they witnessed a body hidden under a sheet after a hotel guest fell from the balcony.
Oh, yeah.
The death of the woman who fell from a 4th-floor balcony was reported by Dominican Today on June 30th. Apparently, she'd been drinking. After complaining, they offered about $300 in compensation. This was 100% the worst holiday we've been on. My wife and I have been traveling together 21 years. Never known anything like it. When we went out to the pool for the first time, we saw guests smoking weed in the pool, people having sex in the pool. It felt really seedy. One woman was getting sick all over herself in the pool. Another guest defecated in the pool in front of him. We were approached by people offering us drugs about 10 times in the 17 days we were there. No security guards, which made us feel all very unsafe. It stank of weed. There was food and sick scattered about everywhere. I can't stress how dirty and seedy it was. No one told us this was a party hotel, and I'm shocked that they would ever think that this would be an appropriate place for my wife and I to stay. The woman fell from the balcony while we were there. We walked past and saw her body underneath its sheet. When we were out one day, I saw a man knock clean off his motorcycle. I just burst out crying because on top of everything else, then that happened. It was such a shock.
Good time.
More of the random question coming up. 206-803-ROCK.
Shenanigans continue. This is the Men's Room with Miles and Thrill.
Men's Room World Tour, stop number 4. It is going down this Sunday, 3 till 6. We'll see you at Mike's Chili Parlor there in Ballard in the back. They call that Mike's Chili Bowl.
Correct.
Featuring Men's Room Original Ale, Uli's famous Men's Room Original Sausage, Men's Room Roasted Red Salsa from San Juan Salsa Company, and we've got live music from Stoned Evergreen Travelers. How much do you think this costs? Would you say $15?
I'll give you $20.
Would you say $25? It is absolutely free if you're 21 and older, and we want to thank Mike because he's normally closed on Sunday. So he's opening up the parlor for us.
That's how we do it.
Have a little party there from 3 till 6. Men's Room World Tour, stop number 4. We will see you in Ballard at Mike's Chili Parlor on Sunday. In the meantime, it is our random question, 206-803-ROCK.
Random.
Hello, Coyote. Welcome to the Men's Room.
Hola.
Coyote, welcome to the program. And the random question. This might be easy for you. It might be tough.
Hang on. Is Coyote your real name or is it a nickname?
So Coyote is my real name.
Huh. That's kind of cool.
What's your last name? Wild E?
No, it's just Carter.
Okay. Coyote Carter. That's a cool name, man.
I wouldn't believe even if I looked at your ID and I'm a cop, I pulled you over for whatever. Like, BS, man, give me your real ID before this gets started.
You're like the guy that you get thrown in a cell with. You know? What's your name?
Yeah.
Coyote Carter. All right, what's your real name? Well, they took my wallet. I can't prove it. All right, Coyote, let's do this one. If you were to turn up dead, who should authorities talk to first? A family member, a friend, or a coworker?
Gosh. Probably a friend, honestly.
You think a friend would be the one that would do you in?
I think I don't spend as much time with my parents anymore, and I do spend a lot of time with my friends. So I think they probably know me better.
And do you think this friend will have killed you on purpose, or do you have that friend who most likely would kill you by complete accident?
Honestly, it depends on the friends.
Right.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Now, not in this job situation and not for a while that I can remember did I have that one person I could say, that's the guy. I haven't worked with that person in a while, but I have worked with many of those people where I thought to myself, look, if something goes down.
This guy is absolutely right.
And it's not one-on-one. It's any of us. It's not just like, oh, he's got a beef with me or she hates my guts or any of that. It's just
the person who I think you're thinking of, it's like, right. No personal issue with us, but a personal issue with the world. So Miles and I always treated this guy.
Of insanity?
Yes. I was not going to say his name, but that is exactly who I'm thinking of. He just had that vibe about him, man.
Well, he would get his job done, and then a salesperson would come and make him stay 2 hours longer than he had intended when he got all his. So, like if a deadline is at 3 o'clock, he gets his stuff done. The deadline's already passed. At 3:30, you got somebody in there saying, we got to do this. And he has to completely change everything he's doing and stay for an extra 2 hours.
But he worked in as far as radio goes, he works probably the highest stress environment there is.
Yeah.
Well, they call traffic. I would never work where he worked in radio. Basically, traffic is you are the people. Everyone can yell at you because no matter what happens, it's your fault. But you have to coordinate the commercials. You make sure they get here, they get there. And so if sales screws up, they yell at traffic first. If we screw up, they yell at traffic first. And then sometimes they just yell at traffic because traffic themselves screwed up.
Yes. Reason that we asked if you were to turn up dead, who should authorities talk to? Family member, friend, coworker. The husband thought his coffee tasted weird. And now the wife is charged with attempted murder. Melody Falancano Johnson of Tucson, Arizona, accused of trying to kill her husband by poisoning his coffee. Robbie Johnson told police he first detected something off about his coffee in March while the couple was living in Germany. He was stationed with the U.S. Air Force. He then set up a hidden camera and spotted his wife putting something into the coffee pot every day. But he waited until they returned to the U.S. in late June to go to the police because he wanted the case handled in the United States. He pretended to drink the coffee in the interim. Fast forward, Robbie said he tested the coffee with pool strips and discovered it had a high chlorine content.
Jeez.
Now, once back in the U.S., he again set up cameras, and they showed Melody take bleach, pour it into the container, and then walk over and pour it into the coffee maker. Police have recovered a container with possible bleach from under the bathroom sink used by Melody. Her husband told investigators he believed she was trying to kill him to collect death benefits. The couple, who do have a child together, were going through a divorce but still live together when the alleged poisoning began. Melody Johnson is being held in the Pima County Jail at the current time.
I've been saying that for years. So look, the scariest thing about women to me is if they decided that they want you dead, they're willing to wait, and they slowly go. Like, if the guy comes home and he's going to kill you. Now, he may have threatened to kill you for a year leading up, so you have reason to be concerned. It might not be a shock, but, like, he's going to kick open the door, he has a crowbar, and, like, beat you mercilessly, right?
Yep.
If the woman wants to kill the guy, and I keep saying this about my wife, she might already be actively trying to kill me. I do not know, because the poison thing seems to, and, like, women are willing to wait, like, 9 months. You know what I mean? It's like a death pregnancy. It's March. All you need to do is be dead by December, but I'm not going to make any big move to do it. Just a little bit. Do you have a bellyache, honey? Really? Wow, your vision's blurred. Like, they're trying to kill it. In fact, when I was trying to sign up for life insurance, we got it through the company, right? So, and like any bureaucracy, it just took forever. But I'm trying to get it done. I could not get any response back, so I took the email, and in the subject line, I said, I think my wife is trying to murder me. That is exactly what I said. They dinged me back in less than 5 minutes. Less than 5. I mean, they responded like, pow! And they said, are you being serious? I said, and I brought up the whole poisoning thing. I said, well, I don't think she is, but she could be actively doing it. Either way, I'd like to sign up for life insurance now if I could. And we got it taken care of. But that's honestly what I said. I don't think she is, but if she is, there's no way of me knowing. You know, if I come home and she's made my favorite meal, but it's not Valentine's Day or my birthday, I'm like, I'm not eating it. Yep, just not doing it.
How the guy
if I come home and she's like, no, I just made you this lasagna because I love you. Like, you eat it first. I'm not taking a fork full of that, man.
No. Yeah, I don't think I know anybody that cares enough to poison me.
Get in a relationship.
Yeah, that'll be it.
That is the person. Guaranteed.
Oh, that makes me feel terribly uncomfortable, Mike.
I mean, look,
but I would pick coworker out of that list. Out of friends or significant others, I'm definitely going coworker.
I'm trying to think. Probably the wife. It'd make the most sense. And if not her, then I don't know. Hello, George. Welcome to the men's room.
Big dummy.
Hola. George, welcome to the program. Random question. Let's see here. George, these are common questions that any child could ask. Any teenager can answer any of these questions, but when you become adult, it's a little bit more difficult. So we're going to go through these one at a time. When is the last time that you went swimming, George?
Oh, geez. Well, normally, I'd say it's probably Taiwan, and every time that I go, I wear a Speedo just to upset my sister because I wear it around the family just to embarrass them.
And Speedo kind of, I assume a lot of Europeans who also known to wear Speedos probably flood the beaches of Taiwan. So do you stand out or do you just like one of the crowd?
Oh, no, my sister was so upset I was the only white guy around there. I shaved my head and had a huge handlebar mustache, and she was just like, please don't do this to me. I go, you know the routine.
How many dudes hit on you?
Right, exactly.
I mean, you look like Mr. Clean, basically.
Pretty much. You mean, I guess it's not so common over there, but it's just more or less it's just the spectacle of it. You know what I mean? All eyes drawn on you.
Now, your tone of voice tells me everything about your relationship with your sister when you turn around like, hey, you know the drill. Why are you wasting your breath? There's nothing you can do. I'm the Terminator of awkwardness.
So when you went swimming, were you in a pool or were you at the ocean?
Oh, no, we're in the South China Sea.
All right,
it's beautiful.
All right, next thing. When is the last time that you rode a bicycle?
Oh, geez, I ride BMX, so I'm out all the time. I was out just last weekend, Tacoma, watching the fireworks down on the bay there.
All right, okay. Now the final one. When's the last time that you ran? And I'm not talking about running a 5K, or I'm talking about you just broke out into a sprint. Maybe you did run a race, but you know, like Steve
full
said,
sprint.
You were running down the street so your dog would chase you, so you could pull the kid on the skateboard.
The kid holds the leash of the dog. It is now my job to run full tilt, so that my kid is sitting on the skateboard, the dog then pulls him like they did around.
But very rarely do people just break off into a sprint unless there's a reason to do it. So
that is the last time I've done it.
When's the last time that you actually ran?
That's an easy one. I just signed up for the Gaelic League out here in Tacoma. I'm up the Rangers. I'm playing Gaelic football and hurling out here, and I was just running this Saturday.
Wow.
We got national championships in Denver coming up in like 2 weekends. So up the Rangers, baby.
What exactly are the Gaelic games? Like, what all does that involve?
Gaelic football is kind of like rugby and soccer combined.
Okay.
And then hurling is it's like I said, it's Gaelic. It's all Irish sports. Hurling is kind of like lacrosse, hockey, and baseball all combined in one. It's a good time.
That sounds fun.
Good drinking activities after, and you get to go out there and bruise some people up. So I enjoy it.
Very cool. Reason we asked, when's the last time you took a swim, went on a bike ride, and ran? Triathlons. There's an endurance tester for you. That requires that you do a half-mile swim.
Correct.
Then you do a 20-kilometer bike ride, and you cap things off with a 5K run. So you do all three. Now, there are some brave souls out there who do Ironman events, which takes that triathlon to the next level. It's more than 140 miles when everything is said and done.
No, nothing.
As far as how far.
Those things are crazy.
I'm sure biking makes up a lot of those miles, but instead of the swim being a half mile, it's well over a mile. You're running more than 5K, probably a 10, if not more. 2,000 competitors headed to the coast of Ireland at the end of July for a leg of the World Triathlon Championship Series that was held in Sunderland. However, dozens of them ended up dealing with some issues in the wake of the event, thanks to what they were subjected to after plunging into the waters off of Roker Beach. The organizers of the triathlon say they were not informed of those findings and did not notice any anomalies when they tested the water before the event. Unfortunately, at least 57 people were treated for diarrhea and other symptoms consistent with an E. coli infection after completing the race. And a number of competitors who were impacted understandably asserted the swimming portion should have been canceled based on what they were ultimately subjected to and the number of styes in their eyes. The United Kingdom Health Security Agency said it would be conducting an investigation in an attempt to determine the cause of what they described as unprecedented levels of E. coli in the water. Although it's hard to imagine any findings will make the people who impacted feel much better about what transpired. It was hard enough to run the triathlon, then you get sick in the swimming, which is the first thing that you do in those competitions.
That's the first event.
So if it hits you fast, man, good luck.
All right, so as far as those three questions go, last time you went swimming.
Last time I went swimming was probably last summer in a pool at a hotel.
All right, Ted?
Last weekend.
All right, because I know you're pretty good about getting swimming in the summer. Mike, former lifeguard, last time you went swimming?
Last time I went swimming was a few weeks back, maybe a month ago, where a bunch of the family got together to rent out a pool.
I'm right there. Yeah, July 4th.
Swimming on July 3rd.
That's what it was.
I did it on the 4th.
All right.
Because the kids were like, get in the water. I'm like, I did not bring any. Fine. So I was wearing these heavy-ass cargo shorts, but still had a good time swimming.
Nice.
How about riding a bike?
Riding a bike.
Oh, that one's tougher.
I've had a flat tire for at least 3 years. So longer than that.
3 years or more.
And I still haven't got a new pump, which broke.
Wow.
I know you did when you went to Arizona, right? Because you got those...
the beach cruisers, but I don't know if but that was years ago. I don't know if did we ride any? So I guess maybe March?
Of this year?
Yeah.
All right, not bad.
Like last week when I had to
really
take one of the Lime bikes down to the train station.
All right. I've done it with the kids, but not probably 3 times this summer. And what was it like? Run, I don't even have an answer to that. Other than, running with the dogs so the kid can be pulled on the skateboard.
Yeah. I ran 5K last week because I'm stupid. I woke up in the morning, I'm like, I'm bored.
That's what your motivation to run?
Yeah, seriously. It was 6:30 in the morning, I'm like, I'm just going to lay here.
But is running not boring? I know you're accomplishing something.
Yeah, I mean, look, man, I choose a very, very target-rich environment route.
I understand.
Is the way that
there's constant motivation.
I could run just up random-ass streets, but no, not me. I go on the trail.
Oh, no,
where the people are. So
the people.
Where the people be. The people who run for a living.
Random.
Hello, Taylor. Welcome to the men's room.
Hola. Taylor, welcome to the program. Random question. Let's go with this one. When did weather ruin your event in life?
Oh, man. I'd say probably my honeymoon that I just had. We were down in Mexico, and it was supposed to be a tropical storm, but it ended up being really nice and sunny and hot, and I don't like that.
So why would you go to Mexico in the summer, man?
Because I have a wife now who makes the decisions.
I see.
Did you express the fact that, like, hey, man, I'm not against going to Mexico, but, like, it's the summertime, it is Mexico, and I hate everything about that?
Well, so I told her, you get the honeymoon, we'll do whatever you want, but I get the 1 year, and we're going to Ireland, and it's going to be rainy, and there's going to be beer, so it was like, I'll suffer through it. It's so hot. It's so hot.
Yes, it is.
Dude, I usually go, if I go to Mexico, we do it around Christmas time, right? It's like 80 degrees, take the kids, blah, 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 blah. Stay at a hotel, get an Airbnb. Years ago, how old's my daughter? So about 12 years ago, Castle and I, we said, the hell, man, let's go to Mexico. We're not thinking about it. He's like, cool. We found an Airbnb, really cool house, only $450. We literally went to the ATM to pay this whole thing. $450 for a week.
Damn.
When we got there, we figured out why. Because it was around this time of the year, and it had to be 103 degrees every day, 98% humidity. Almost everything in town is closed because they leave because they're like, it's stupid hot, so we go to other places.
Yeah.
Where the trip didn't suck, but it was hot.
Did it have an AC at least?
Yeah, we had AC in the house, but the problem is, you're in a foreign country. Staying in the house is not what you want to do at all. But every time you stepped outside, man, it was like stepping into boiling water.
Where did you go in Mexico?
So we went to this little surf town called Sayulita, which was great until the last night where I got robbed. And then we went 4 days in Puerto Vallarta, which it's just too touristy, and we ended up accidentally getting a drink with ice in it. And so the last day, the wife and I were just, everything.
You got to be really
even in Puerto Vallarta, because usually
I'm an ice eater.
But usually, like the more resort, let's face it, Puerto Vallarta, it's just like U.S. and Mexico, right? Normally, those places do a good job of the ice and all that. You got so many people from the States visit.
She wanted to go see this crocodile farm, and so we got the Uber to go to it, and they kept dropping us, and I was like, maybe it's not meant to be. And then one picked us up, and he was like, you guys know where you're going? I was like, no, man, we're clearly not from here. He goes, no one will pick you up. I was like, why? He's like, it's a fence, and there's some crocodile, and it's a really bad road. It's like, oh, so we shouldn't do that.
So instead, you took the pirate cruise.
Let me ask you, did you do anything on this trip that you actually wanted to do? From the sounds of it, it's kind of just no.
I drank a bunch of tequila.
Nice. All right. Well, you said the weather wasn't cloudy. So believe it or not, man, that little bay at Puerto Vallarta keeps all of the hurricanes off there. It really does a pretty good job of deflecting everything.
Sure.
So if you were supposed to be in the middle of a tropical storm, I'm sure that held it off a little bit.
I just don't want to go to Puerto Vallarta.
Raismans, how did the weather ruin your event? South Korea are evacuating tens of thousands of Boy Scouts by bus from a coastal jamboree as tropical storm Kunan looms. As the AP reports, more than 1,000 vehicles started Tuesday morning, moving 36,000 scouts, mostly teenagers, from the World Scout Jamboree in the southwestern county. According to Kim Sung-ho, a vice minister, most of the scouts came from 158 different countries. They will be accommodated at venues in the capital city, Seoul, and the nearby metropolitan area. Officials are trying to secure spaces at government training centers and educational facilities, as well as hotels. It would take 6 hours or more to evacuate the scouts from the campsite and get them back to Seoul, which organizers said no longer will be used for any event after they leave. Last week, it was sweltering heat.
Right, yeah, and a bunch of scouts dropped down because of that.
No trees in the area, so there was no shade, there was no room for cover. Then all of a sudden, now a tropical storm is coming in. They're afraid that area is actually going to flood based on the fact that they have no vegetation there. It's basically just an open...
But you can also make the argument, hey, man, if you're having all of this hit your country, who better to be with than 36,000 kids with merit badges?
Yeah.
Certainly they can help.
Look, they're prepared.
That's what I'm saying, man.
Yeah, on a non-air-conditioned bus. When you're a kid in Scouts, that is the ultimate thing.
To get to is it a Jubilee or the Jamboree?
That Jamboree, and this is the World Jamboree. So this would be the equivalent of the World's Fair coming to Seattle.
Right. It's 36,000 people.
They pick one location, man. As a kid, you want to take these trips, wherever they are. So to get there, and then have that go down. Like, oh my God. Like,
I know. I do feel bad for the scouts,
You've
man.
got 2 adults taking care of 12 to 15 kids. These kids are melting the hell down emotionally and everything else.
How many calls do you think the scout masters, chaperones are getting from all of the parents of all of these kids?
Based on where they were and the amount of people were there and cell phone service and everything else,
there's no way.
I don't think they were getting a whole lot of messages out. Maybe sending an email once they got into a range somewhere. But other than that, more of the random question coming up, 206-803-ROCK.
Are you dealing with a personal injury? Don't go it alone. Turn to the experienced team at Phillips Law Firm. Their attorneys have helped thousands of clients get the compensation they deserve. Call Phillips Law Firm now. Call 1-800-JUSTICE or visit justiceforyou.com.
Hey there, everybody. I'm Melvin Robert from the TV show Extra. Every day on our show, we talk to the biggest celebrities and the biggest newsmakers around. We get exclusive details about hookups and breakups, baby news, and the behind-the-scenes info from your favorite TV shows and movies. But we can only fit so much on our show. That's where Extra the podcast comes in. Listen and follow Extra the podcast and Odyssey Podcast on the Odyssey app or wherever you get your podcast.
Hey, it's Mike Hawk. Want more Men's Room content? Follow the Men's Room page of the Odyssey app and check out my live stream, A Moment with Mike Hawk and Nothing in Particular with Steve the Thrill Hill. Going live Thursdays and Fridays at 1 exclusively on the Men's Room page of the Odyssey app.
99.9 KISW. We return to the Men's Room with Miles and Thrill.
Your guess is as good as mine. Coming up, our categories include the sexiest jobs and delicious cheeses.
Yes.
We'll do a little Your Guess is as good as mine right after our random question. Speaking of, we had to reset the phone lines there, so if you're on hold on the random question, call back now at 206-803-ROCK, and we'll get you back in the queue. In the meantime, I'll ask you guys one. Let's see.
Random.
When did you know that you needed to see a doctor? When did you know you needed to see a doctor?
That thing on my ass. As far as something that's not an absolute emergency, like I had my hand chopped off. Well, no kidding. But that thing on my ass. And I rarely just go to the doctor for anything other than an emergency or a physical. But it was the first time I had it. I did not know what it was. It hurt like a mofo. And like I said, the problem is you can't see it.
Right.
But I can feel it, man. And after spending 3 days in my own bathroom, like bending over at the waist, trying to look between my legs upside down, spreading my ass. I'm like, 1, this is not a good look. It's ridiculous. 2, I still can't find it. So I finally went in, and it's a fairly benign thing. They're like, look, it's not really a health issue. It just sucks while you have it. It hurts.
Well, and those things get so big, right? Because I had that one on my chest. And same thing, like, you kind of just noticed like a little thing, and then it was like a Thursday or something. But by Sunday, it had gotten big, and I was like, oh, my God.
It gets huge.
Like, this can't be right.
In no time.
Yeah, same thing. I went to the doctor, and they were like, oh, like, just use a warm compress. Like, it'll open up. And
But, like, how bad did it hurt just to put on a shirt? I can't, because your skin is stretched so thin. It's just so sensitive, man. So, like, even when we're doing the show, just sitting on my ass hurt. I can barely walk.
You just feel it. I'll tell you what, I had a little one underneath my arm. So I put one of the big Band-Aids on there, but I forgot how sensitive underneath your armpit is.
Oh.
Yeah, so when I took off the Band-Aid, I was like, I'll just get it done and rip it off. But I, like, ripped the skin. Showering was brutal for, like, 3 days. Not because of the cyst that had ruptured, because of my skin was missing.
I mean, I went in to get a hemorrhoidectomy. That was something that was in the making for a long time.
But how long do you wait? Like, you have hemorrhoids. A lot of people have hemorrhoids.
I waited too long.
And you can do preparation H and all that. But at some point, you made the decision, like, no. I'm like, medically, I'm going to the doctor.
Well, the doctor made that decision when he looked at him. Oh my God, dude. Really? I was just looking for a remedy when I went to see him.
Right.
I didn't realize the severity of the problem.
So he's like, let's just take a peek.
And a lot of the reason is because you can't really see what's going on down there. But the last time that I went to the doctor because of something where it wasn't like, oh no, my penis.
Yeah.
Was a guy that I occasionally get a beer with or see in Fremont. We talk all the time about whatever, and I hadn't seen him in a while. I was like, hey, man, where the hell you been? He's like, I had shingles, dude.
Oh.
And I was like, and he told me everything that he went through. Yes, he had chicken pox growing up. Mm-hmm. He's like, man, if I can tell you one thing that you absolutely need to do, you need to go and get vaccinated so that you don't get shingles. And if you do, it is not nearly as severe as what I went through, because he said it was absolute living hell.
Yeah, my father went through shingles. I had never heard of it. I was like 14 years old. And my father's one of those guys that had always just been healthy. I mean, he barely even got a cold, right? But like, he was out of commission for days, man. And finally, I just asked my mom, like, what is up? She's like, he has shingles. Shingles to me at that time were the things you put on top of your roof.
Yes.
So I'm like, the hell you mean he has shingles? What, you went to Home Depot about shingles? And now she's like, no, man, it's... So this is pre-internet, right? So she kind of explained it. I'm like adult chicken pox? I'm like, they weren't that bad. My mom's like...
They weren't that painful. But this is totally different, apparently.
That's what she said. She's like, all right, picture chicken pox, but now they personally hate you. Like,
so
all I hear about shingles is awful.
And I went and got the first vaccination. She said, what are you doing now? And I said, I'm going to go and walk up the street and go to work. She's like, you're going to work? And I was like, yeah, why? She's like, this is not a good first shot, man. She's like, and you have to come back for another one.
But they didn't tell you this
you didn't read the fine print. I didn't read the fine print.
Right,
no,
that's what it was.
This is all on me, man. This is all on me. But hopefully that crap works. Reason we asked, when did you know you needed to go see a doctor? Did you guys know the color of your boogers has different meanings and can suggest potential health problems?
Your boogers.
All right.
Tell me about boogers. I have not.
They're not maybe a concern for those that medical professionals say might warrant a trip to the doctor's office, but here you go. Yellow and green. Yellow mucus could be an indicator of infection, and it is usually represents white blood cells working against viruses and bacteria in your system as part of its immune defense response system.
Those are the ones that look like the original Gatorade.
Mm-hmm. However, a change in color of mucus to a yellow or greenish color may not always be indicative of a bacterial cold. So colored mucus does not always signify a bacterial infection, but it's a sign your immune system is working to fight off something.
Okay.
Brown. Now, you might not be too familiar with brown mucus because it's not as common as the clear, the yellow, and the green. Brown may result from several different sources, whether that's blood mixing with mucus from old injuries in your respiratory system or environmental influences such as dust or pollution. Additionally, the same goes for brown mucus. It's being coughed up. If you're coughing that up, truly brown and rust-colored phlegm, this would be concerning as it could be caused and coming from the lungs. You should always consult with your family physician for brown phlegm, especially when it comes up when you're coughing.
I'm here about my brown phlegm.
Yes.
And that's got to be a pretty rough cough if I feel like if you're coughing up brown phlegm.
Yes.
Yeah. Red, believe it or not. You'll want to consult with a physician to make sure there's no underlying health issues. A majority of times, a streak of red in boogers may indicate irritation if you've recently had a cold or blowing your nose often or picking it or nicked the interior. Now we have black ones. It's true. You may come across black boogers. Black can be seen due to the presence of a fungal infection. Or in individuals who smoke or inhale smoke. Black mucus is the least common out of all the colors, but if you have it, they say always chat with your physician. And as far as mucus, it's likely okay. The one that would be clear. So if you've got a runny nose or whatever, if it's clear, you're not as bad off.
All right.
I feel like allergies, it's almost always clear. Because you don't really have an infection.
Right.
But then it's like, right, you could tell if you're getting a cold or something and it's all green and yellow.
And those are the ones I'm used to seeing. Somebody here says, when did I know I have to see a doctor? I knew I needed to see a doctor when my work said they would pay 100% of my insurance if I got a wellness check. My ass was in there the next month. Someone else says, I started peeing blood for no reason. I actively avoid doctors, and I went in immediately. Here's the thing about peeing blood for no reason. There's a reason, and that's why you went to the doctor. And then someone else, my wife had shingles back when we were 19, caused by long-time stress, likely due to her crazy-ass mother.
Random,
stress bring on shingles?
Yes.
Oh, yeah? Keep smoking weed, people. Keep smoking weed.
Stress does a lot of things. Herpes outbreaks, cold sores.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
I'll get a cold sore.
Right, if you're super stressed out?
Correct.
I gotta start checking out my body when I'm feeling like stressed for like a week long or something. You know what I mean?
You know, to get clammy and stuff. It's just a weird...
I think I just yell a lot.
Sometimes my stomach just gets upset, too.
Yeah, I've had that.
Right? It's like I don't have an infection. I think I'm just stressed out. But, man, I got to poop.
Yeah, I was going to say stress diarrhea. Right? Hello, Justin. Welcome to the men's room.
What's up?
Hola.
Justin, welcome to the program. Random question. Let's go with this one. How did you or someone you know get busted? And what did they get busted doing?
Let's see. So when I was like 17 or so, we used to do some heavy drinking, and we would go in the back of these woods and we'd throw eggs at cars that drove by. And one guy topped out and started chasing us, and I can't remember which friend it was, but one of our friends wasn't very fast, and he got caught. And the guy called the cops and roughed him up a little bit, and it was. We kept doing it though for like another 4 or 5 years till they built something in the wooded area. It was good, old fashioned fun.
How bad did your friend get roughed up by the driver?
He had pretty good bruises on him. A couple of scratches and stuff from the bushes. I think some of it might have been self-inflicted from trying to run from the guy. But, I mean, like I said, we were like 15, 16, 17, and this was like 20, 30-year-old guy. And so, yeah.
Yeah, well, that's the age. That's the age of doing that. I mean, Halloween was like one of those. I didn't really necessarily participate in all that stuff.
You didn't necessarily participate.
Look, every one of my neighbors I knew. I mean, I could walk into their home. I knew everybody in the house. I knew everybody's phone number. I either babysat, cut grass.
Right.
All those different things. So for me, now, if I were to go to a different neighborhood, game on.
Oh, sure.
But the people in my own individual neighborhood, I actually generally respected and liked. And, you know,
isn't that the general rule?
We'd always have barbecues in the neighborhood and ride bikes together as kids.
But isn't that the rule?
If we would get invited over.
If you're going to do something stupid, do it in a different neighborhood. Those kids that spray painted my door those years ago, I went looking everywhere trying to find out who spray painted my door. And they spray painted everyone's house, cars, all this stuff. They lived at the end of the block.
Right.
And
theirs didn't have any on it, right?
Nothing on there, and their fat, ugly mother was out there. It wasn't my kids. I'm like, first of all, it was your kids. That's one, because two of the people that live here saw them. Two, be glad I didn't find them that night because I had an axe in my hand and I was pissed drunk and I was going to chop their hands off. And no, I'm not kidding. Three, their bags are sitting outside. You can see the spray paint cans spilling out of them. Mm-hmm. So I was like, look, there's one of two ways it goes. I chop off their goddamn hands, which is the original plan, and I'm still angry enough about this. I have no problem with that because the way I see that scenario is I'm doing them a favor. They don't know what to do with their hands. So I'm going to remove the temptation to do something stupid because you might make somebody crazy angry. Or what they could do is wash off my goddamn door, which is what they did. And we stayed there maybe another 2 years after that. But the same kids, we had a little deck out front, and they had to walk by. From that moment on, and my wife always laughed about it. They'd look, and they're talking like 15 to 16-year-olds do, but they'd look, oh, hello, sir. I'm like, and keep walking.
Yep. Raise, we asked, how did you or someone get busted? Police in Florida have charged one senior citizen in the fatal beating of another, and a photo helped solve the case. All of this began on June 28th when 87-year-old Dean Zook, he hit a car while trying to park at the Glenview Country Club in the Villages.
All right, here we go.
Robert Moore Jr., who was 76 years old, thought that Zook hit his car and punched the older man in the jaw when Zook asked to exchange insurance information because he wanted to take care of the problem.
Yeah, that is what you do.
Moore then continued punching Zook until he realized that it was not his car after all that had been struck. It was somebody else with the same make and model car, according to the arrest affidavit. So when Sumter County deputies arrived and spoke with Zook, he began slurring his words and struggling to stand. Now, he would be diagnosed with bleeding on the brain and eventually pass on due to his injuries. Yeah, in a parking lot. Beat him. Moore had left the country club by the time deputies arrived, but they were able to identify him as the suspect thanks to a receipt for a to-go order from the country club. Now, a detective, searching his name online, then found a photo in the Villages News of Moore from earlier this year, posing after he hit a hole-in-one at the golf course wearing the exact same clothes as the day that he punched Zook.
Damn.
Moore has been charged with aggravated manslaughter, has since admitted that not only did he punch him, it was not his car. He drives the same make and model as the one that was struck by Zook, leading to the initial confusion. He also told the detective he feared Zook would try to leave the scene. Moore is scheduled to be arraigned in September, but this is an 87-year-old man in Florida.
If I ever see an 87-year-old man driving a car and he's going to park the car, I just assume, maybe right, maybe wrong, he's going to hit somebody's car. The guy's 87.
It's 87.
Yes, exactly.
It's probably a big car.
It's probably a big car. And also, you live in Florida, specifically at the Villages. Like, I would imagine your car gets dinged up all the time.
It does. I will say this. I mean, anybody who knows anything about the used car industry at all, if you want to go buy really nice used cars, low mileage, normally garage kept, in very good condition, you could buy a 10-year-old car with 15,000 miles on it.
Right.
that stayed in a garage the entire time. That is the Florida used car scene.
Because people die.
When my uncle goes to look for a car, he gets nothing but cherry cars with incredibly low miles. Now, they might be 5 or 6 years old. He'll just buy an extended warranty because the warranty's expired. The car's got 12,000 miles on it.
Right.
Car never got, and it's got plastic covering the seats. Everything is immaculate on these really nice cars. Caddies, Lincolns.
Sure.
You name it, man. It's a used car paradise.
Used car paradise.
Because no one's driven it 200,000 miles. And for the most part, the car's in great shape.
Yeah, just old people with lots of money, and they die soon.
Yeah, as my dad says every time an ambulance goes by. Well, there's another Cadillac for sale.
Random.
It's the Cadillac siren.
I'm not kidding you.
There's one on the market.
Wonder what color it was.
Go to Craigslist, quick.
I mean, I get it because older people have retired and they can finally afford it. That they get, Cadillacs, Buicks, and stuff. But it is kind of funny that a dangerous driving group drives so many giant cars.
Mm-hmm. Big, heavy, fast, well-built cars.
Correct.
And they're 87 years old.
Yep.
Hello, Justin. Welcome to the men's room.
Hola.
Justin, welcome to the program. Random question. Let's do this one. Justin, do you know anyone who was the victim of a break-in or maybe had something property-wise stolen?
Yeah. Before I bought my house a few years ago, I was living with a buddy, and we had gotten broken into a couple times within a few weeks.
Your apartment?
No, he had a house.
So they broke into the home.
A couple of times in a few weeks. What kind of stuff were they gripping out of there?
So they came by, and I think they just broke into my truck and then grabbed maybe a couple things that were sitting outside. He had hedge trimmer and a chainsaw or something outside in the back. And they had gotten into my truck, took a backpack and a garage clicker. I'm guessing they were planning on coming back using the garage clicker to get in, but it was for the wrong garage.
Aha. So they're just driving around clicking garages waiting for something to open up.
So do they ever actually physically get into the house?
Never into the house, no. They just stuff that was around. He had a shed too with filled with tools and whatnot, and they had gotten a few of those things as well.
That sucks. That really does suck. Yeah, I had my scooter stolen from 1 foot away from my front door. I mean, just gone. Woke up in the morning, I'm like, and it's gone. Had my helmet on, walked outside, and it's gone.
Now I'm just a guy wearing a helmet.
And it takes a second to register.
It really does.
Right.
Did I park
it somewhere else?
Yeah, exactly. Nope, somebody just stole it.
Reason we asked, you know anyone who was a victim of a break-in or had something stolen? California authorities have captured 4 suspects in multiple break-ins and homes around the Lake Tahoe area, especially the South Lake area. DNA has confirmed a large female black bear and her 3 little accomplices were responsible for at least 21 instances of property damage in the last year, according to the State Department of Fish and Wildlife. The mother bear and her babies were safely immobilized on Friday. The adult female, known to researchers as 64F, will likely be taken to a sprawling wildlife sanctuary near Springfield, Colorado. They're taking her that far away from California. Her cubs could end up in a rehabilitation facility, just like everybody else in California.
Wait, they're taking the cubs away?
They're taking them all away, taking them to Colorado. It's cheaper.
So the cubs are going with the mom, though?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Now, I like the idea. Just break it up to be mean. Screw this bear family.
What you get?
And hopes they can discontinue the negative behaviors they learned from the sow and can be returned to the wild. Exactly.
I learned it from you, Mom.
Well, 64F was outfitted with a tracking device. Okay. That's how they figured all this stuff out. The bear was in the homes. She is one of 3 bears identified last year as being responsible for 150 incidents, including property damage in the lake region, straddling Northern California and Nevada. Originally, it was believed that a single large black bear the public had named Hank the Tank was the one breaking into homes, but apparently it was 64F. And Hank the Tank just got the bad rap.
Why do I get such a bum rap?
Eventually, Fish and Wildlife announced that it was actually multiple bears responsible for the mayhem, but they believe they've got at least 4 of them.
So it's not that 64F and her 3 little ugly kids.
It's not that these bears have learned not to break in. They just said, let them break in Colorado.
No, they've learned this. They're in California. They're going to move them to Colorado.
No, but that's what Ted's saying.
That's what I'm saying.
You're not training them to not doing this. You're saying, hey, Colorado, prepare for some break-ins.
Well, we know the orcas have been doing it with their offspring.
Are they still doing their boat thing off the coast of Spain? I haven't heard about it in a while.
That's the one thing that's a learned behavior that they've been learning, and that's why they increase in those attacks.
And apparently it's fun.
Yeah, they just really enjoy ramming into it.
And weren't they like teaching other pods, like, dude, you're not going to believe how fun this is?
Right. Initially, they thought, ooh, some boat hit a calf or
right.
mama. And they're like, no, they're just doing this to have a good time.
They're a-holes.
This is just basically what they get off of. More of the random question coming up, 206-803-ROCK.
When the job gets tough, you need equipment that's built to handle it. The Kubota construction lineup, featuring the versatility to do more, durability to keep going, and increased comfort for long days on the job. With skid steers, track loaders, wheel loaders, utility vehicles, and the world's #1 selling compact excavator for 20 years, our expanding lineup is built to deliver. Visit KubotaUSA.com or your local Kubota dealer today to learn more. Go to KubotaUSA.com/disclaimers for full disclaimers.
Turns with Miles and Thrill.
Random question, 206-803-ROCK.
Hello, Kyle. Welcome to the men's room.
Hi, how's it going?
Hola, how are you, sir?
I'm pretty good. Can you hear me all right?
Yeah, we got you.
On my Bluetooth.
Okay.
Cool.
All right, let's go with this one, Kyle. Not that you knew it then, but what is the dumbest idea that you had as a child?
That's a tough one. I mean,
well, no, Miles, you what? Jumped off?
I jumped off.
Using something as a parachute, umbrella as a parachute.
I've done that.
I know you've talked about that before. Yeah. I don't think I actually did that one. I don't know if maybe trying to jump like a bike over something stupid. I had a lot of dumb ideas as a kid, but I never actually tried one.
So did you ever get inspired from a cartoon or a TV show to give blank a try?
Oh yeah, all the time. Like cartoons, that was my jam.
Okay.
Trap my brothers in. Fold them up in the bed. We had one of those.
Murphy beds.
Trundle beds. It wasn't a Murphy bed.
The trundle. Okay.
Yeah, it was more like a trundle bed, but yeah, and we had one. It was kind of just all metal springs. It would fold up and go out of the way, but tie them in there and then tickle their feet until they pee themselves or something.
Yeah.
I was so mean to my brothers.
I think some of the dumbest things I did was just the fact that I would ride my bike to the lake without shoes on. So when my chain fell off my bike,
and then you still
down the hill,
stop,
I didn't really have the foot brakes that I needed or anything like that, and I'm barefoot.
Sure.
That was not good. No helmet. Like, you don't think about it now, but it's just different time. Riding in the back of a vehicle, in the back of a pickup truck.
Right, all that stuff.
Never wearing a seatbelt in the back, standing up in the front seat of a car when I was young enough to do that so I could see out the windows.
Sitting on the lap and helping them steer.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's all that stuff. It was what it was, and now you look back like, Jesus Christ, that was a bad idea.
Stupid. Just stupid.
I remember when Star Wars came out, it was such a massive cultural thing, but, with no internet or anything. Anytime anything came up on TV about Star Wars, you'd watch. And one of the specials they did was how they did the special effects. And all the stop motion stuff and the lightsaber fights and how they did it. And I remember all the kids in the neighborhood, we would get together. Because now we're special effects experts because we saw it on TV.
Sure.
So we're going to simply recreate what they do. We would do pretty well until they got to like the lightsaber thing. So what they figured out to do for lightsabers, remember those bright orange flags you had on the back of your bike, whether you wanted it or not?
Yep.
So you take the flag off, you cut those down a little bit, you put it in this piece of wood, and it looked like you had these two orange lightsabers. And on 3 separate occasions during the summer, and I just want to point out, we only tried to recreate the special effects on 3 occasions during the same summer. It ended when we got to the lightsaber thing because, look, if kids have something they can swing, it does not matter what you tell them. It doesn't matter how you warn them. Someone is going to take it to the face.
Yes.
And all 3 times, our special effects were, it ended when somebody took it to the face. And typically you get your cheek cut, whatever, the bleeding, run home. But repeatedly. Like, we didn't even learn that this was a bad idea. We'd do it again.
That's why we could never help with wrapping presents.
Why is that?
That doggone
the tubes.
Yo, you bad dude.
Oh, we waited for the tubes, man.
Tubes are awesome.
They are.
We were so excited when it ran out of paper. It's like, grab the tube. Me and my brother just beat the piss out of each other.
We did it with frickin' ceiling lights that had been taken out of the basement because they had blown or whatever. So my stepfather just took them out before and put them in the garage, and me and my buddy got the bright idea that these were lightsabers, and we were going to...
Yeah, exactly.
And they just shatter and poof, and all this powder...
They shatter pretty quick.
They do.
And they blow up, man.
Yes.
I did not know that. And this years ago, working at Chi-Chi's, we had to change some of the fluorescent bulbs. No big deal. And I know you're not supposed to. I did not know this then, but we would just throw them out. So let's take them to the dumpster, dump them in. And I popped the lid. Dumpster was super tall, but just pop the lid, throw them up and over, and before I could reach up to close the lid, boom! Mm-hmm. And all this glass and powder came out. And I told the guy, the manager at the time, I was like, hey, man, I don't know what happened. There's something in the dumpster. Something in there blew up. He's like, did you throw them in there? I was like, well, yeah. I mean, he goes, okay, well, just so you know, fluorescent lights, if they break, they don't break easy.
Reason we asked, not that you knew it then, but what's the dumbest idea you had as a child? An 8-year-old Bolivian boy ended up in the hospital after allowing himself to be bitten by a dangerous black widow spider in order to become like his favorite superhero, Spider-Man.
I could see where a kid would screw that up.
That's what I'm saying. You didn't know you were an idiot at the time. It made sense.
The 8-year-old reportedly playing near a river close to his house when he turned a big rock and discovered a black widow spider. Now, without realizing the consequences of being bitten by a highly poisonous spider, he grabbed the spider and put it on the back of his hand in the hopes of being bitten. He got his wish. And then he headed home, where he began experiencing symptoms like body aches, intense muscle spasms initially. The boy did not say anything to his mom about the bite, but after 3 hours of agony, he said that he'd been bitten by a colorful spider. Now, the concerned mother took the child to the health center.
The spider was just funny.
Then he was put into a hospital in San Juan. After hearing about the spider bite, pediatricians there contacted the head of a zoo, basically, with the Department of Health, who helps establish what kind of spider had bitten the boy.
Okay.
Now, the child, without considering the risks, picked it up, placed it on the back of his palm, where the spider bite was made. We are extremely concerned because his analysis and questions asked to the child when he had already recovered indicate that he picked up the spider with a simple purpose. He wanted to become Spider-Man. The boy's mother confirmed that he was a huge Spider-Man fan.
Clearly.
But she had no idea he could do something so dangerous to actually become like the Marvel superhero. Luckily, after identifying these spider species, doctors administered the proper anti-venom, and the boy's condition became stable only 30 minutes later.
Okay, good.
These black spiders with red backs are black widows. They do not cause anyone to become Spider-Man. On the contrary, they put lives at risk.
But I'm thinking about this kid, all right? And a lot of us grew up with superheroes. And now that they've made all these movies, especially for little kids, you don't have to read the comics, right? You get to see them in action. So I'm thinking to myself, your kid decides they want to become the superhero that they like most. Who's the safest superhero? Because think about this, all right? Spider-Man, to become Spider-Man, has to be bitten by a radioactive spider. Batman has to have both of his parents gunned down and hope that they leave him billions of dollars. Okay?
That would be bad for you.
Superman has been basically not quite abandoned, but he is sent away from his home frickin' planet and is found by strangers as an infant. Things work out. Wolverine, no one's quite sure. You just know someone experimented on him. He suffered quite a bit, and in the end, he could shoot claws out of his wrist or out of his hands. But even then, he says it hurts when you do it. The Flash, I believe, got struck by lightning or some S like that to become Flash. Iron Man, took shrapnel to the chest and damn near died, and luckily he can make his own thing to keep his ass going. The Incredible Hulk was exposed to gamma ray radiation. I mean, does any superhero, is anyone just hey, you know what, man? I was born rich. I had a great life growing up. I just decided that with my abilities, I'll do some good. Even Thor, right? You're born a god. You were the god of thunder. And then your homeland is attacked and destroyed. Wonder Woman. All right, cool. You're born with all this stuff. You know what I mean? But now you got to go fight the world. Because it turns out some villainous thing specifically hates the race that you are is going to come back and kill everyone essentially except you.
I mean, I think that's part of being a superhero.
But why do you have to go through so much bad?
To be that good.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, look. Here's my argument. Batman, I understand. Someone killed his parents, right? You're definitely going vigilante, and you don't want people doing bad things to other people. Spider-Man, all right, I'm just a dude. I get bitten by this radioactive spider. I now determine I can climb up walls. I don't think I'm going to be a good guy. I'm not saying I'm going to be a bad guy, but, I mean...
Would that make you Venom?
No, Venom's a whole different thing. He's an alien thing stuck in something. So I'm saying, I'm glad they decided. I'm Flash, right? I get struck by lightning. Now I realize I can go the speed of light or something. It doesn't mean I'm going to be a good guy.
Well, if Superman comes back, where's he working?
What do you mean?
What's his job?
It's all online now.
That's what I'm saying.
It's all online.
So he got changed in a phone booth. Everything about this.
He can't change in the phone booth anymore. What would be the...
yeah, but he works from home. He doesn't have to change.
You know, that's a good point. Because now he can work from home because he's doing an online print version. Was he Daily Bugle? Daily Planet.
Here you go.
Who was the Daily Bugle?
J. Jonah Jameson or Spider-Man. Yeah.
Okay. Wow. I figured Mike would know his stuff.
They just need to change
Jameson was the one that
the
was
general plot of Superman just to pick up with the time.
Update it a little bit, right? Because they keep releasing these movies. Like he's working at a newspaper.
Kids don't know what a newspaper is. Kids don't know what a phone booth is. This is your demographic.
Right, that's it. These things don't exist.
This is who you're trying to get to be interested in your product.
But yeah, I'm just saying, look, if your kid decides that they want to become a superhero based on how that superhero came into being, there's no good way. I mean, hell, Deadpool. Kids love Deadpool. Not a great story to get there.
What was his deal?
Didn't like someone beat? I know he got like acid thrown on him. What was Deadpool's deal? Because he ended up a lot uglier than he started. Right? Something very traumatic happened to him.
He got cancer as the whole thing, and so
this
is according to the movie. I'm sure the comics are different, but according to the movie, he got cancer, and then he
already a non-starter.
He agreed to join up with this group that would, turn him into a superhuman, basically is what it was, and so they gave him this superhuman gene or whatever that then manifested into just destroying his skin.
But he has a cool outfit. All right, how about Green Lantern? Did anything bad happen? He was just a pilot, right?
Yeah, he's just a pilot.
They found a ring. Aliens gave him a ring or something.
Pretty much, yeah.
And then
he found an alien that was dying, and so he took the ring, and then bam, now he's...
so an alien has to die. So kids, even then, you know what I mean? Like, even the alien must be dying. It can't just be that an alien says, hey, Earthling.
It's weird that both of those things happen to Ryan Reynolds.
Random.
He's had an interesting life.
Yeah, he really has.
Found a ring from an alien, had cancer.
Right.
All the different things.
He's gone through it all. He's gone through it all.
I want to give you guys a question because people just dropped off the line there. What would you say is your main...
Wait.
What?
Peter Parker's uncle was murdered. Yes, I forget. That's what I'm saying. Does anyone just say, I'm a good guy because I want to be good? That's all.
No. There's your answer. No, they don't.
Like going through my Rolodex,
tragedy. Then it's like, all right, I guess I'll go start saving the world now.
Same thing. Your daughter. Oh, she wants to be a Disney princess. Your parents have to die.
Yes.
Nothing good happens to anyone, it seems.
It's like a Disney movie.
It's the motivator.
Mm-hmm. You think that's it?
Yeah.
What's the motivator for a Disney prince? Superhero, I get it. Something bad has happened. I am now going to commit myself to doing something good. Correct. All right? Disney princess, like my parents died. Now you're motivated to do what? Eat a poison apple?
Go and rule a doggone kingdom.
Well, you were going to anyway. Because they died, Mike. The reason you had to take over the kingdom is because the king and the queen, my parents, died.
And now you got to step up.
And I'm a kid.
Right.
It's not like they were in their 80s, man. You know what I mean? And like we had a good talk. It's like, no, mom and dad said they're going to go on this horse and carrots, and then they die. Then it's like, now you have to rule a kingdom. I'm like, yeah, it's cool that I get to run this, but like, not for that, man.
None of us choose our lives, man. Sometimes we're just forced into our situations.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
We make the best of it.
Just saying.
Let's go with this random question here. What is
Father died in a plane crash for Green Lantern. I'm telling you, no one. It is impossible. You don't want your kids to want to be superheroes.
What would you guys say is the main bad habit that you have, and have you ever tried to stop doing it? Main bad habit. I'm number one, smoking. There's no
smoking
question
without
about
a
that.
doubt.
That's the first thing.
Excessive drinking, sure. There's that.
Yeah,
I mean,
mine's
based
drinking.
on how I don't. There's days you can go out and get pissed drunk. You know you've gotten drunk. I don't consider my drinking excessive, but I have come to accept that every time I go to the doctor, and that, how many alcoholic beverages do you consume a week? And it's like, a week? I mean, 50, 60, and like their jaws pop open. But I'm like, I'm kind of a 6-pack a night guy, and then on the weekends, just kind of drinking a beer from the time you get you get stuff done. But yeah, I'm always.
I tend to. It takes me a while to settle down once we leave work. Like I can never leave work and just go to dinner.
Right.
I need like a break for a minute, like 45 minutes to an hour, just to kind of.
That's fair.
So I'll eat a little bit, but I'm normally not too hungry. But I'll eat whatever I eat for dinner. Then I get stoned. Then about another hour goes by. The next thing I know, I'm in a drawer with a jar of peanut butter, some cheesy poofs, whatever I can get my hands on. I've got a cheese ball, I got crackers. I will make a snack. And then I realize after I make that snack, like, I want more of that snack.
Right, of course.
Now, 2 snacks deep,
Yeah, mine was snacking. I'd put that on the list.
If I'm not stoned, I don't. But I get stoned enough that it happens.
Peanut butter and jelly sandwich, bowl of cereal, whatever.
Kid stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, I kind of joke about it, but I tell that to people sometimes too. They're like, oh, is it tough not to snack when you smoke weed? It's like, oh, I weighed 350 pounds without smoking weed.
Right, without smoking weed.
Unfortunately, I just like to eat snacks.
Just snack. Reason we asked, what is your main bad habit, and have you tried to stop? Up to 30% of people bite their nails, believe it or not. A new study figured out a simple hack that can help you stop. Try
Cut off
replacing...
your fingers.
Yeah, or your hand. Try replacing the habit by gently stroking your forearm instead.
Really?
It's a form of habit replacement where you swap in something self-soothing for something that's self-harming. And the key is still involving your hands. Is biting your nails that big of a deal?
I guess they tell you not to do it because all the germs that are under. I mean, that's my understanding.
When you've been a nail biter for years, doing it can give you a hit of dopamine because you actually enjoy it in a weird way. So one reason the technique works is to give you a similar dopamine hit. So they say that there's other things you can try, like lightly stroking your forearm on your fingertips, rubbing your tips of your
just your forearm, or is there something else?
No, just hit your forearm.
I think you can do the something
and your
else.
fingertips.
If you need that dopamine hit.
Yeah, lightly brush the fingers on one hand across the knuckles of the other. Basically, it's just all hand replacement. But they say, which bad habits have Americans had at some point in their lives tried to quit or still have? I'll give you a few. Not exercising enough. I'm guilty of that.
Sure.
Not saving enough money. Probably guilty of not saving enough money.
Probably.
If I had started a long time ago, every single one of us would be doing a little bit
better. If you knew
better.
then what you know now, sure.
But time is critical on that. Procrastinating. I'm not necessarily the biggest procrastinator in
Yeah,
the
but
world.
we asked you this a week ago. I've thought about the question. No, I don't procrastinate.
Sleeping too little.
Maybe.
I will sleep as long as I can. Until that alarm goes off or until I know I need to get up.
I think I'm like a 6.5 hour a night guy on average.
Okay. Staying up
I
late.
love sleeping, unless it's the weekends.
Because you got stuff going on.
I know, but it's just like, damn, I should have actually slept some.
Staying up too late.
Absolutely. Go to bed about 1, yeah.
Eating too much, we covered that one. Spending too much money, depends on the situation. Depends on, look, I know when I burn through some cash on stuff. But
Whose
it's only
perspective
because
that I spend too much money? My wife might say I spend too much money at the bar. I absolutely disagree, but I think we understand each other's perspective.
Being lazy, they say, is a bad habit. Drinking caffeine.
Yeah. I've cut back.
I have no problem with caffeine. Screen time before bed. That's one. And then, they'll tell you, like this week, you were up 45 minutes this week. At least
Right.
on the product I got there. It tells me what I'm doing. Watching too much television. I'm definitely not guilty of that. Slouching. Guilty as hell. Being messy. Not guilty. Yeah. Working too much.
I think there's a point where we did, but not now.
Smoking cigarettes or vaping.
Yes.
Check. Swearing. Check.
F you.
Spending too much time on social media. Since I've gotten off social media, I have found that I am a lot less stressed.
Yeah, that's part of the reason I dumped Twitter. I'm like, it just went away.
And I don't know what other people are doing, and it's just more entertaining when I see them to talk to them and ask them random questions instead of knowing what they're doing. Like, how was Vegas, man? Instead of going like, hey, what have you been up to? I went to Vegas. No way. How was it?
We used to have a coworker. I would not say what her name was, but I'm not, nor have I ever been on Facebook. But I would do something over the weekend, come in, and the first words to her, to me, so how did so-and-so turn out? Blah, 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 blah. Finally, I'm like, how do you know what I did on the weekend? It's not like we hang out or talk. She's, I stalked your wife on Facebook. So I went home and told my wife, make it private. It's ridiculous. Answer questions about my personal life to someone that I'm not. I said, we were fine, but we're not friends. I never told you. It's weird to me that you do that, to ask me about my weekend. Like, nah, but you got to privatize.
That is weird.
Yeah, it's very weird.
Your guess is as good as mine. Cut over categories, including the sexiest jobs and delicious cheese. You are listening to The Men's Room.
Are you dealing with a personal injury? Don't go it alone. Turn to the experienced team at Phillips Law Firm. Their attorneys have helped thousands of clients get the compensation they deserve. Call Phillips Law Firm now. Call 1-800-JUSTICE or visit justiceforyou.com.
Hey there, everybody. I'm Melvin Robert from the TV show Extra. Every day on our show, we talk to the biggest celebrities and the biggest newsmakers around. We get exclusive details about hookups and breakups, baby news, and the behind-the-scenes info from your favorite TV shows and movies. But we can only fit so much on our show. That's where Extra the podcast comes in. Listen and follow Extra the podcast, an Odyssey podcast on the Odyssey app or wherever you get your podcast.
What's up? It's your boy, the Ted Smith from the Men's Room. And did you know I have a podcast? Well, I do. The Podcast. New episodes uploaded every Wednesday on the Odyssey app.
The debauchery rolls on. You're listening to The Men's Room with Miles and Thrill. 99.9 KISW.
Categories: the sexiest jobs and delicious cheese. Coming up with your guess is as good as mine, but first time for a few emails from the men's room at KISW.com.
You've got mail. You've got mail.
Jump right to the birthdays. I want to give a birthday shout out to my beautiful little Mila, who turns 9 years old today, or Mila. Baby, you've changed my life with all of your love and all of your love in your heart. Can I get a cat fart? An owl hitting the window, and Coach Ted telling her how much school is going to be fun this year. Thanks, guys, for making my afternoons at work just that much better. That from Jeff and Joanne, a.k.a. Mom and Dad.
Oh, my gosh.
All right, 9 years old. What is that, second grade?
No.
Second or third?
Third? You start when you're 6, 7, 8. Fourth grade, maybe?
All right, either way, third or fourth grade, fun year. Fourth grade, you're going to learn some state history kind of facts, which is always pretty cool. Then you'll be able to impress everybody, maybe go on a field trip. Other than that, you're still getting recesses, so let's enjoy them. I heard lunch is going to be better this year. Mom, she sent me a private email and said she's going to step up her game. So when you look at your mother tonight, you look in the eye and you say, Mom, I need better lunches. Step your game up.
Did you get a cold lunch, or did you normally take the cafeteria?
I brought a lunch to school.
You did?
It depended. Like through second and third grade, food came from home. Fourth grade, it was back to whatever school was
I
slinging.
could not trust my mom to make lunch. I'd rather just roll the dice in the crappy-ass menu at cafeteria and take my chances.
What was your big day in the school cafeteria? If it was pizza day,
was
we got
big.
word of that. That was huge. Or if it wasn't pizza day, but whatever other slop, but they had tots.
Yes, hamburgers normally, and they were the worst hamburgers.
Absolutely
And you
the
could
worst.
taste the frozen in the frozen patties. They were
But you were happy to
horrible.
eat them.
They had grill marks in them, and we didn't have a grill. It was that kind of thing, you know?
Oh, those aren't grill marks, baby. That's Sharpie.
They painted that on. You don't realize that.
I'm with you. There was definitely like a Thursday. I don't know if it was every Thursday that we had pizza. That was awesome.
That was always a good day. But yeah, Nugget Day was important because everyone, as soon as you got your nuggets on your tray, you'd sneeze on them or lick them or whatever because people would steal your nuggets. Like, it was a known thing, man.
There's a bar in my neighborhood. They have a salmon Caesar salad, and they also have like a salmon sandwich. So I order them both every once in a while. And I'm sitting at the bar there, and I look around, and I'm like, hey, this salmon has grill marks on it. And they're like, yeah? They're like, you don't have a grill. They're like, you're the first person that's ever noticed that.
Really?
Yeah, and I'm like, you got to be kidding me. You got to be kidding me.
Hey, now you know it's good.
Well, I mean, the food's fine. I mean, the sandwich is good. There's nothing wrong with the salmon. I just wonder why in the hell they have, like, you just, I don't need the grill marks.
But do they advertise it as a grilled salmon Caesar?
They do.
Well, there you go.
It's grilled. Just a flat grill.
It's grilled.
It's a flat grill.
Sure.
Yeah. What up, guys? Love the show. Can I get a birthday shout out for my production manager, Jake? Jake, pronounced big man. How about your penis is too small? You like that? And maybe some dirty Germans talking about his big welding gun. Thanks, guys. Love the sausage, by the way. That from your pal, the Smoky McReefer.
Yeah, I do not deal too much with these big welding guns, but I am known to solder every once in a while.
So, yeah, I'm not sure what that involves, but, you know, I can produce a hot, sticky glue.
Happy 37th birthday, Fart Blossom. Lots of love from the Nag and Eddie Anna Jones in the Temple of Dusty's room. He would like a, oh, sweet Jesus. And you guys talking all over yourselves about having to show up at work after a bender the night before. Thank you, guys. That from Kat.
Oh, hang on 1 second. What happened to that one?
Uh-oh.
I know what one he's talking about.
Is it
Sweet Jesus?
No.
Or Jeez Louise?
Jeez
Louise. We have a sweet Jesus in there, a holy Jesus.
There was an old woman that was like, "Oh dear Jesus," and I
Oh, you got to know. I want to hear it, man.
I know. I think we got rid of it.
All right. As far as talking all over yourselves about,
all right.
Coming in today, Vendor. All right, that honestly, that is called a day.
Much
It is a day that ends with the letter Y because everybody here goes on typically on school nights. That's the best time to do it, man. But we can take it a little bit easy. But otherwise, you're all right.
Guys turned 39 today. Woke up to find my girlfriend, Alita, vandalized my tailgate and has been getting me honked at all day. Gotta get the dirty Germans to tell me how I should honk her back. Yeah. Thanks, guys. That from Nate. The girlfriend wrote, honk. It's my boyfriend's birthday. He doesn't know I put this on the back of his truck, etc., etc., etc.
Yeah, I think you should do exactly what your own choice of words was and vandalize her tailgate tonight.
Yeah, you should at least drop it down and vandalize it. Maybe you should make some markings on it.
Yeah.
Boo bitches, my fiance Scott is a longtime listener. Today he's 40 years old. I love him so much, and I'm ridiculously proud of everything he's accomplished. On that note, I would like to request a fart, a Leroy Jenkins, and for Coach Ted to give him advice on turning 40. Thank you, gentlemen. You rock. That from Laura.
Let's do this. Leroy Jenkins.
All right, look, I mean, turning 40 seems like a giant deal. Hopefully you can go out and have a party. Old Coach had his during COVID, so he didn't do crap. Not that I'm still salty about it. But like anything else, 30, 40, 50, one day you'll just wake up and be 40. Now, you'll feel super old because you have gotten older. So when you say things like Seinfeld quotes and back in my day and the fact you graduated high school in a different century than everybody else, you're going to feel old. But you're not. You're only 40.
Guys, I celebrate 49 orbits since my mom popped me out. It's weird realizing that you're going to hit 50 soon. Anyway, how about I drop the beat, a big old bong rip, a burp fart, and all of you guys talking all over yourselves about being 49. Liquor and horse, that from Dennis.
Drop the beat.
Yeah, 49. Oh, let's see.
49
was 49 is knocking on the door to me. I kind of just didn't even worry about it. To be honest with you, I always say I'm 1 year older than what I really am, so I can adjust my mind into thinking about that age. All right, guys, here you go. Happy, happy, happy birthday. Happy, happy, happy birthday. Happy, happy, happy birthday to you, to you, to you.
Ya's a Dirty German is brought to you by Men's Room Original Sausage. Available through Uli's World Famous Sausage, mensroomlive.com, and other fine retailers. Schweinefleisch.
Thank you, Bob. Let's get a contestant on the line for your guess is as good as mine now at 206-803-ROCK. Couple of extra emails. Chubject. The Chubject. Great Wall of China.
Did you say Chubject?
Chubject. Chub check. That's when you go up and tap someone on the belly, see if it jiggles.
I know. That's what I'm picturing. Somebody pinching me there. Chub check. Get the hell away from me.
Here, buddy.
Subject: Great Wall of China or China. Gentlemen, Thursday, you're amazed at the size and length of the Great Wall of China. Keep in mind, the stone structure of the wall is one thing, but a lot of the wall is also not like that. It's wooden fences, etc., especially in the northern desert area. Take care of that from Brian. I just
feel like I've been lied to.
The fact of the matter was, when we found out it was 9,000.
13,000.
Oh, sorry, 13,000 miles long. That was
still hard to wrap my head around.
That was mind blowing.
How come they never show the wooden parts? Right, like anytime they're going to show you an image of or a video from the Great Wall of China, it's the big, thick, fat parts of people walking.
As far as the list of things you guys have that
it's like taking a photo from up above.
Yeah,
show the real angle.
As far as that list we had of things men should not have over the age of 40, Ola. Your previous show, you had a list of things that men should not own over 40. Oh, and one of them was a beanbag chair. Well, let me tell you, because I have a fetish for beanbag chairs. My bedroom is full of beanbags. I do plan to keep them past 40, so there. If you want, I'll even provide you with a list of good artists to listen to while sitting in one of those things. By the way, the best kind are the vinyl ones. That from Paul, your loyal blind listener from Appleton, Wisconsin, who is still into the beanbag world. And one more.
Does that count as a fetish?
It depends on...
When I like my couch, I wouldn't say I have a fetish for couches.
Are you having sex with your couch?
Not with it.
Well, he's having sex with his beanbag chairs.
All right, fetish.
Yep. And one more. Subject is Lindsay Lohan. I'll bet just catching up on the podcast. You're all talking about how you'd F up plenty if you were in your 20s and had access to that kind of cash. The Earl said he'd be the poster boy. I find that funny since I was born on March 25th, left-handed, like to write in cursive, smoke weed, and have a bass guitar at my home. Only thing is I'm white. Anyway.
So close.
To the point I grew up in a family that had so much money for their own good. Think meddle in your life and F you up in the head type. They were crazy. I joined the military to get away from them and the Trust Fund Brigade. Let's just say I made mistakes because of military trauma, but as I sit in my therapist's parking lot because my brother told me to check myself into a mental institution because he wants some money I never have, I would say money can really F you up and not buy you what you want, which is loved ones and time. P.S., by the way, guys, I'm starting comedy. So I'm working my way toward a goal I believe in, which making people laugh while realizing money really can ruin you. You've heard of rags to riches. I was riches to rags. Keep up the good work, guys. That from Tulsa Phil. All right, time for a little Your Guess is as good as mine. It's an easy game to play. We get a contestant on the line. You pick from one of two categories, then try to get as many right in said category before 3 strikes, and you're out.
That's correct.
So, Steve, who is our contestant ready to play Your Guess is as good as mine?
Never met the man personally, but his name is Justin. Hello, Justin. Welcome to the men's room.
Hola, gentlemen.
Hola.
Justin, welcome to the program. Your Guess is as good as mine. Technically, today we have 3 categories. First, we have the top 10 best cheeses in all the world.
Cheese.
If you like cheese,
love cheese.
Pick the 10 best and you're good. Then we have a list of the jobs that women consider to be sexy and the ones that men consider to be sexy in women. So do you want to go jobs or do you want to go cheese?
You know, I actually want to go cheese.
You're going to go cheese.
Cheese.
Now the game is played. You got to get as many right in said category before 3 strikes and you're out. These are the 10 best cheeses in all the land.
And by the way, Justin, I don't know if you could hear it in everyone's voice, but we are disappointed in your subject.
Oh, that sounds like
Ted was the most vocal. I just made a frowny face. Ted just came out like, "Jeez,
what the hell are you thinking, man?"
That's kind of why I did it.
Okay. All right,
well played. Well played.
Okay, we're going to go cheese. Justin, you know how the game is played. You got to get as many right in said category before 3 strikes and you're out. What is your first guess? This is the world of cheese. So every place in the world, they got a chance to vote on this.
Let's go Havarti.
Havarti.
Did you say Havarti?
Yes, I did.
Wow. You came out of the gate with Havarti?
Yeah, that was...
cheddar, mozzarella.
Now, Justin, listen, I really like Havarti, but I just don't think that's going to be your top 10. Like, I love it. If you got it, I'll eat it.
But
I would not have guessed it right for my top 10.
All right, cheddar.
Cheddar's number 1.
There you go.
All right, now you're tracking.
Miles will get the basics taken out of here.
American?
American is number 9.
Really?
That is your Velveeta. That is your government cheese. That is really, truly American cheese. The cheese that is probably the least cheesy
I think
product.
of Kraft Velveeta is different than... Or Kraft Singles American different than Velveeta. Velveeta is like its own subset.
Have you ever had Velveeta Singles?
Its own subset. I like that.
No.
In the yellow package?
No.
Aren't they kind of thick and weird?
No.
I'm not saying
well,
they're
you can
bad.
you can get them thicker slices.
Yeah, it's just
prepackaged still.
It's like, what is in my mouth?
Velveeta.
That should be the whole
It's
slogan.
not even cheese.
If you're asking what's in your mouth, that's probably Velveeta.
Justin, yeah. So far, right, with cheddar and American, you've done the yellows.
Strange
All
mouth.
right, let's go every pizza topping almost anywhere. Mozzarella.
Mozzarella's number 2. That is the second most popular cheese. So far, you're correct with number 1, cheddar, number 2, mozzarella, or number 9, American. Do you hate it when people pronounce these cheeses in the native tongue from where they are from? Yeah. So if someone says mozzarella, does that drive you crazy?
I say, hey, Dave, I know what it's called, man, but just for the purposes of this, let's just call it mozzarella.
Okay.
Mozzarella.
I know.
He says it every time. And what makes it worse is he doesn't do it in an annoying voice where if he's like, mozzarella, you go like, okay, it's like you saying Gino, right? He does it because that's just how he says it.
Right.
And that, for some reason, that makes me angry.
Okay. So far, you've got 3 out of the 10, 1 strike. Justin, what's your next guess? These are the 10 best cheeses in the world.
Let's go Parmesan.
Yeah. Parmesan number 5. I love Parmesan.
I love Parmesan too, man.
I would, even though it's not really like the kind of cheese you eat.
Stuff.
But I'm telling you what, Parmesan, it's just, I love it.
Parmesan can go on a lot more than just like pizza and Italian.
And when it's fresh grated and really just nice and like angel hair thin, man, is that good. God. All right, you got 4 out of the 10, Justin. What's your next guess?
Provolone.
Provolone's number 10.
All right.
Provolone's strong.
I'm a provolone fan.
Okay.
Provolone's awesome.
Is that what a cheese stick is? Like a melted cheese stick when you go get cheese sticks? Or is that mozzarella?
That's mozzarella.
Mozzarella, okay.
Mozzarella. Mozzarella. You say it like you're Dracula. I like some mozzarella.
Provolone typically on a cheese stick, correct?
Correct.
If it's not the wit.
Yeah, I'm with you.
Okay. All right, you're right so far on provolone, American, Parmesan, mozzarella, and cheddar.
Parmesan.
Yes.
You know, I'm a big fan of like smoked Gouda, but Gouda?
Gouda's 4. All right. I do like a Gouda. I do like a Gouda cheese.
I like a Gouda. Yeah, way Gouda. What do you think about something like feta? Now, look, I'm a feta fan. I cannot speak for it, but I love it.
Feta's strong.
Just for like Middle Eastern, Mediterranean, all of that, yeah, feta.
Feta's number 7.
I mean, I don't eat it, but Mike is correct. Blue cheese has to be in here.
I love blue cheese.
blue cheese is solid, but I'm thinking the other stinky cheese. I'm thinking brie.
Brie.
Ooh, that's not a bad call, man.
Brie's number 3.
Ooh, all right,
Justin, here you go.
You think brie is a stinky cheese?
It's not stinky. It has
Brother,
nothing to
you got bad brie. It should not smell like anything.
No. It should not taste like anything.
Okay. No, I had like this. It must have just been this really, really bad brie a long time ago. But yeah, it's stuck in my head. I'll never eat it again.
That's a shame, brother. You're missing out.
Bad brie was in a sorority. All right, number 10 is provolone. Number 9, American, you got correct. 7 with feta, 5 Parmesan, 4 Gouda, 3 brie, 2 mozzarella, and 1 cheddar. So there are only 2 cheeses left. Justin, you have 2 strikes remaining, and you've got 2 to go.
My Subway go-to, which is Pepper Jack.
Pepper Jack's number 8.
Wow. Okay.
You have 1 cheese left.
Oh, what's that one sandwich? But Swiss.
Swiss is 6. You have run the table, Justin.
Damn.
With 2 strikes
God.
remaining.
The man who
Very
opened
good.
with Havarti.
Yes.
He came out of the gate with Havarti.
Back. An unbelievable comeback for Justin.
Yeah, no kidding.
Nice
He's a real
work,
cheese
brother.
guy.
Nice work. Coming up, we'll drink and toast with a shot of the day. You are listening to The Men's Room.
Walk the dogs, school drop-off, meetings from 10 to 3, take kids to soccer, then no time left for a jog.
When everyone else is relying on you, it's easy to put your needs last. BetterHelp connects you with a licensed therapist online, so you can show up for yourself the way you do for others. Visit BetterHelp.com/positive to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp.com/positive.
99.9 KISW. The shenanigans continue. This is the Men's Room with Miles and Thrill.
All right, check out up here, man. We'll drink and toast with a shot of the day. And we do have your headlines on the way at 5:50. But first, a quick check-in with Mike Hawk and some of the stories and headlines he is not working on.
All right, gents, prepare yourselves. Rumor has it Wendy's is going to announce a pumpkin spice Frosty.
I can't believe it took him this long. Now that you said it out loud, like, yeah, sounds about right.
Yeah, but I'm in. That sounds like it's going to be fantastic, dude. One, the Frosty's already one of the best ice creams that you can get out there as far as fast food goes. But pumpkin spice in that, I think that's going to be a dynamite mix, man. I'm
why
first
not?
in line. Let's go.
Go for it. And you know it'll taste so artificial, it'll be delicious.
Correct.
Can't go wrong with a Frosty.
No. It'll probably turn your tongue orange, but
I didn't realize they had vanilla ones and chocolate ones until like 2 or 3 years ago.
What? Oh, yeah?
I just thought it was one flavor all the time when I grew up. I had no idea.
Damn, man.
Mind blown.
Then they got rid of the vanilla for strawberry, or they get rid of the chocolate for strawberry?
But you're not wrong. That's a recent development. It
What,
always was just the chocolate.
Huh.
Okay.
I didn't realize that.
Yeah. Damn.
Probably thought I would have picked chocolate every time anyway, but.
Right.
Okay.
Tinder has a feature that uses AI to pick the best profile picture.
Oh, boy. What is AI's particular opinion of your picture?
Right. I'm not positive.
Side boob.
That's one of those where AI, I think, as far as the dating realm, was a good application. Like, no. Don't do that one of you holding the fish.
Right.
Nobody cares. Okay, grab this one. This is one that, they're attracted to.
Hold a puppy, not a fish.
Exactly. You see this one with like you and 9 of your friends? They don't know who you are. Don't pick that one.
All right. I can deal with that.
Right? I think that's good.
What if it doesn't pick
2006, they started new flavors of Frosties.
Oh, 6.
I mean, it's still been, I have to do the math, 17 years.
17 years, yeah.
Justin, you're never getting old, Ted. Hey, it's a pretty recent development.
Yeah, 2006.
Yeah, my kids, but they'd be like, so forever.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh.
Dear God. A man in India broke the record for smashed walnuts with his head.
Good work. Congrats.
Was there a lot of competition?
Congrats.
Decently. I mean, I think the previous record was in the 250s, and then he busted it with 273.
Wow. Okay.
Crushed walnuts with his head.
He probably looked at his wife and said, I told you one day this would matter. You called me an idiot.
Nobody believed in me, but I believed in me. 45% of Americans are interested in weight loss drugs.
Well, sure.
Yeah. It doesn't shock me. It's weight loss is not fun. It's not.
That's why they were interested in the pill.
Right. It's not exactly the easiest thing. You need to retrain your brain and you need to work your body, and it takes sweat and hard work and perseverance.
Give me a pill.
Put it into a pill, you damn
Yeah.
straight. Hey, let's go, dude. We're in. Gentlemen.
what was the one, what was that for? Diabetes or something they came out with like the last year, and people realized they could
Ozempic? Is that
Ozempic.
You could lose weight on it, so it's like everybody's like, oh yeah, let me get some.
Well, they found out you could lose weight when they unexpectedly started losing weight, because some of the people losing weight, they were diabetic, but they weren't heavy.
Right.
So they started calling it like Ozempic butt or something like that.
Oh, yeah. I do remember some of that.
Like, yeah, I was just reading about it's not a problem I have, but I guess they're discovering the side effect now.
Right. Ta-da.
Yeah.
Gentlemen, what do ringback tones, slap bracelets, and the 49ers' competitive edge all have in common?
How many years ago they were popular?
No, they were things that quietly went away without anybody really noticing. But don't worry, the list gets bigger.
The Men's Room Top 10. The Men's Room Top 10.
10 things that quietly went away without most of us noticing. I noticed when the Sears wish book went away. Mom used to have us circle the toys that we wanted that we hoped Santa would bring. But the wish book served a different purpose for me, such as browsing the ladies' undergarments. That was great for a budding pervert.
Dude, that Sears catalog. You're 7 or 8 years old, man. This thing is, 500 pages deep. When you got, and keep in mind, the bra, this was not Victoria's Secret sexy bras.
Sure.
These things were bras that your grandmother wore. You know what I mean? Like, the underwear went.
It was just some skin. That's all you're looking for.
All you needed.
That's right.
All you needed, man. It was so much easier back then, Mike.
They're like slingshots.
Yeah, it was like a cool, man.
They were like slingshots.
They were. If you were slinging bowling balls.
Yeah.
Oh, mercy me. All right, so these are 10 things that quietly went away without many of us noticing. Number 10 being telephone books.
Yeah. Yep.
There was that time when the mailman would deliver an overly thick book filled with nothing but names, addresses, and phone numbers.
In the good old days of crank calling.
Yep. I mean, I guess so, but I feel like people kind of noticed. Because they would just they would just sit on like the front porches because nobody wanted them anymore.
Exactly. I think that's when you notice, like, hell, they put this goddamn phone book in front of my house for.
Yeah.
Everyone's using cell phones, man.
Right. But then one day they just stopped, and I think it was brought up a while back, and when you start thinking about it, it's like, kind of miss getting the book out there every year, but...
Well, it was, I will say it's stupid.
I know.
It came out once a year, and as kids, we'd sit there and you flip through. First, you'd look up your own, yourself.
There we are.
Buddies, and then we would go alphabetically to find people with ridiculous last names.
Yes.
So that we could crank call them and tell them about it.
Do you remember any ridiculous names that you thumbed through when you were a kid?
Hold on, I'm just going to write.
You're just going to write it down?
I'm going to write it down. This is the guy's last name. All right. So, but keep in mind, at the time, we're living in Baltimore, and there's 650,000 people in the phone book. He was the only person with this last name.
Sure.
So we thought we'd be clever, and we called this guy, and he sounded normal enough. He noticed, hello, and we're like, you're the only so-and-so in the phone book. This is his response. I know. We were not the first people to point this out to him.
Oh, God. Yeah. Number 9, the term cyberspace. Space.
And I had to say the internet, the web.
Pretty much. During the early days of the internet, the world was filled with a lexicon like cyberspace, the information superhighway of the World Wide Web. Yeah, they're just...
you're still doing a sales pitch to people. So you're like, yo, man, this is cyberspace. This is, it's a whole new reality.
It's the future.
And people need to understand, it was. I remember my sister coming home from her friend's house. They were had more money than we do. They had a computer. And she was telling us about America Online. And just,
could you even wrap your head around it?
I couldn't fathom that you could just talk to people through one of these fancy machines.
What happens if they're not there?
Yeah.
It just sits and waits for them.
It was wild, dude.
Number 8, long sports highlights. Poster says, I distinctly remember watching ESPN Sports Center each morning as a kid in the early 90s for my fix of sports highlights. Each game had a few exciting minutes of highlights broadcast, and each segment captivated.
That I definitely noticed, because it's all about the talking heads now.
Sure.
So, I just want to see the highlights. And look, everyone has an opinion about it. I get that you guys are good at it. You get paid to do it. But I'd rather see the highlights than listen to you go on about some self-made whatever the hell.
Right.
And Monday Night Football, they used to be their go-to, man, at halftime. It was great. Monday night, when they went to halftime, the entire halftime was highlights from all the other games.
No kidding.
Oh, yeah. I mean, you gather around, and look, as a kid, I had East Coast, Monday Night Football didn't come on until 9. So I had to beg and plead with my parents to let me stay up in the first place. They'd give me until halftime. knowing that I could at least then watch the highlights.
Well, and then anymore, just like you were saying, it's more about the drama surrounding the league that you're watching. Dalvin Cook still doesn't have a team. Where's he going to land? I don't know wherever he lands.
We'll find out when he announces it. But you don't need a 10-minute segment. We know where he could go because they never tell you anything you didn't know.
Right.
Well, these 4 teams are looking for wide receivers. We know.
Aaron Rodgers still doesn't know if he's going to play.
We know.
Right.
And when we find out, we find out.
Exactly.
Well, and you're talking about Monday Night Football. It was like a massive deal, too, if your team highlights were on there or if they worked.
Sure.
Yes.
You did well.
Yes.
Yeah. Number 7 of the 10 things that quietly went away without many of us noticing: ownership of tangible things. This is when it comes to ownership of physical things, everything changed in the blink of an eye. Physical media has essentially become extinct, replaced with endless subscription services, as we used to pay money and then the thing actually belonged to us. Now it's now you're more just paying for the license to be able to watch it for however long you're going to be able to see it.
It's pretty much a big rental agreement.
Exactly.
And you don't own this, but if you want access to it, you got to pay.
Right. And really anything as far as quick ownable entertainment, music, TV shows, movies. They're things that we used to be able to just buy and have on our shelves. Yep. Now we still can, mind you, but
you can, but it's so much easier and convenient. Correct. You have to be dedicated to your cause.
And the thing is I fought it for so long because I loved physical copies of DVDs. I had a massive DVD collection. I loved movies, but then when I got Netflix, when I got Hulu, when I got all the other ones, it's like, okay, well, some of the movies that are on my shelf I can just watch on the digital scape, and let's face it, I haven't pulled down one of those doggone DVDs in about 7 years at this point. So, yeah, if I toss it, I can't watch the movie whenever I want to. But even when it's here, I don't have the ability to watch it. So, screw it. Just take the movies as they come in.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of nice that you don't need to have room for all that storage,
right? Because entertainment centers, right? The whole thing.
Oh, yeah.
Entertainment centers have kind of gone away because you don't have a 4-piece stereo system, big ass TV, the separate VCR, the speaker stands. It's like, man, I got a TV and a soundbar.
Yeah, and I mean, hell, DVDs helped just because VHSs were so big.
Absolutely.
And slow. DVD, you can skip it. When your buddies told you we're in a movie, you're going to see so-and-so's boobs. I'm not even kidding. To me, that was the best thing about DVDs.
Yeah, or you had to watch Caddyshack enough that you knew where to pause it. And you could just fast forward to it after school before people got home, Mike.
But we all did it. Yeah. You memorize every phone number and every mark count on your VHS tape. Mm-hmm. It could almost be like a game show back then. All right, I'm going to watch Fast Times at Ridgemont High. When does Phoebe Cates show her boob? You can be in frame 8871.
That's right.
Yeah, exactly.
It looks like you just insulted that texter, man.
I know it does. They were asking what the person's last name was.
I know.
And now that you say that, I do feel bad. Because if corporate were to audit this, it'd be like, hey, man, that guy seemed to be asking you a fairly simple question.
Oh, the guy who said...
What you did say, hey, do you mind sharing the last name? But I just put the last
name.
That does look...
See, I know that name is, so that's even better.
Number 6 of the 10 things that quietly went away without many of us noticing: Quiznos restaurants. I never went to Quiznos when they were in their popularity. I think I knew of one location, but I couldn't tell you any other one that where it was at. I know that they were a big competitor for a while there.
I started going to Quiznos when we first moved to Seattle. We're all sharing an apartment, and there was one 2 blocks away, maybe.
All right.
And I don't think any of us had really gone there religiously, but we're like, cool, let's check it out. I'll be honest with you, they were decent. But I got the French dip once, and I remember it took me maybe 5 minutes to get around to eating it. And the au jus they gave me, it was straight up pudding.
Oh,
and I was like, and I know they're all related, but I was just like, it's a little too gelatinous for me.
Well, and Quiznos, too, their whole thing was like toast and subs.
Yes.
Yeah.
And they did get pretty big there. But they also, to me, they seem like they always had some new thing happening. Like some new sandwich or some new line of subs. Like,
gotcha.
I don't know. It seemed like a lot of new stuff.
Not a whole lot of consistency.
I loved it. I thought they were great.
Okay.
Yeah.
Expansive video game manuals. It says every kid who grew up in the 80s remembers the feeling of opening a new video game and being overwhelmed by a larger-than-life manual that served to heighten your excitement. Buying a new game and having a thick, chunky manual filled with game lore, which you could read before playing and heighten the anticipation of the game itself. Which, that was never my scene. I just played the game. You know, there were those manuals that you could buy that would help you beat it, and I did get a couple of those, but I was okay with those going away.
And look, this is an old man problem, but I'm an old man. I hate anything where you have to read the manual before you can actually use it.
Sure.
And I always say, back in my day, you bought a TV, you plugged the goddamn thing into the wall and started watching TV. Now it's like you plug it into the wall, and then it asks you a whole lot of questions. And I got to sign up for all this different stuff. And I'm like, man, I just want to watch a football game.
Right.
Why in 20 minutes set this up, do this kind of thing, make sure you put this over here. That's why I let the kids or my wife do it. I cannot do this.
At number 4, the little character that used to say, "Yo quiero Taco Bell," the little dog.
He's probably dead.
Oh, yeah.
Probably. I mean, but the Aflac duck's probably dead.
So
but
is
they
Sponge
replaced it.
McKenzie.
Right?
Correct. But
The Geico Gecko's going to live forever because that's just what they do. But
yeah, I don't know. But that dog, I mean, look, I'm sure they use multiple ducks.
Sure.
I never think about it with them. But to me, there was just only that one dog.
You think there's only the one? I mean, there may have been.
I can look. I mean, I think they might have used other ones.
I think Colin Jost put it best on Weekend Update a couple of months ago. I guess the world's oldest dog finally died, and something like it. It lived to be 24 years old. It was a Chihuahua, and he said the secret to that long life is that they all look the same. Mm-hmm. I'm like, yep.
I kind of like the Taco Bell. And also, shout out to Taco Bell. Like, over the years, it's just like, yeah, we got a bunch of stuff. We're open. Like, get in here.
I'm on it.
You know what I mean? Like, you don't even have to be hungry. Just come by.
But the number one thing that quietly went away without many of us noticing, we all remember waking up on a Saturday morning and diving into a box of cereal and getting the toy in the cereal box.
Yeah.
Do they not do that anymore?
They don't do it anymore, man. It's gone.
Wow. All right.
You can't encourage kids to buy food based on toys and toy products. I think that's one of the reasons McDonald's got rid of some of the toys in the Happy Meal.
Wait, is it that you can't or that they've decided not to?
They try to discourage that from being the reason that you're buying what you're buying.
Yeah, but now Wheaties is like, why else is anyone going to buy this garbage?
And then your kids are going to get McDonald's anyway.
And then whoever was your sibling would always ruin the box of cereal because then they would just dive their hand to that.
Okay, that was a me move. And my brother would say, just wait. And I'm like, why am I going to wait? I know it's in there somewhere. And the thing is, it'd be like something like Raisin Bran that I didn't even eat, but he did.
Exactly.
Get your hand out of the box. Like,
I want the ring, man.
There we go.
Got the decoder on it. There's a puzzle on the back that I need to solve.
And you know what it says? It says, wash your hands before you dig into the cereal box.
57 competitors in a triathlon in the UK fell ill in the region will make your stomach turn, Miles.
What was the reason?
I'll text your memory 1 hour at 5:50.
Thank you, sir. Headlines are coming up at 5:50. In the meantime, let's get a contestant on the line for Profile. This is 206-803-ROCK.
Have you been in an accident that wasn't your fault? Feeling overwhelmed and unsure what to do next? Look no further. The personal injury attorneys at Phillips Law Firm are here to help. Phillips Law Firm understands that accidents can turn your life upside down. That's why they're dedicated to fighting for the compensation you deserve and to making the process as stress-free as possible. Don't wait any longer. Call now, 1-800-JUSTICE, or visit justiceforyou.com.
Imagine you're looking at a balancing scale with everything you do for other people on one side and everything you do for yourself on the other side. If it isn't balanced, maybe it's time to spend a little more time on you. And therapy is a great place to start. BetterHelp connects you with a licensed therapist online who can help you find that balance and stick to it. Visit BetterHelp.com/positive to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp.com/positive.
Hey, it's Mike Hawk. Want more Men's Room content? Follow the Men's Room page of the Odyssey app and check out my live stream, A Moment with Mike Hawk and Nothing in Particular with Steve the Thrill Hill. Going live Thursdays and Fridays at 1 exclusively on the Men's Room page of the Odyssey app.
Have we made it to drinking time?
Somebody out there deserves to be recognized. And the Men's Room knows just who it is. So to you, we say, bottoms up, sailor. You're the toast of our shot of the day.
Drink time it is, and as usual, we head to the drink desk and Steve Thrill Hill to find out who we're toasting.
Yes, indeed. Today we toast Zoom. You know, the company that saved a lot of people's sanity during the pandemic. Well, some people used it to communicate with loved ones. Ted, I know you use it a lot to talk to your buddies that live everywhere, right?
And podcasts.
And post-pandemic, Zoom's claim to fame is that it now allows an extraordinary number of people to continue working from home. This is not news to anyone. We know that once people started working from home, when things opened back up, a lot of people chose to stay home. And Zoom actually is a lot of the reason. In fact, it's been so effective that some companies have to plead with their workers just to return to the office. Not to do the job, but just to return to the office. But again, thanks to Zoom, some employers, they are willing to be flexible and allow for the hybrid approach, where workers only have to work 2 or 3 days.
Seems to be like Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday.
Those are the big days.
Especially downtown Seattle.
Yeah. Well, another company has now come out saying, enough with the Zoom, get back to the office. And that company ordering the workers back to the office is Zoom.
Wow.
Yeah, Zoom, just read this today. Zoom is now asking their workers to get back to the office because they'd like them to do the brick and mortar. And they're like, but we have Zoom. Mm-hmm. We don't need to come in. It's kind of like Frankenstein's monster. Well, you guys created this. Of course they want to go back in the office. Mm-hmm. You're Zoom. They have Zoom accounts. Actually, we had a good line during the pandemic. Hair Club still reaching out to us about whatever, just typical stuff. And every time Miles and I tried to set up the Zoom, like we'd be sideways or upset.
Totally.
Whatever. So he'd make fun of us every time. And finally he just said, how come you guys have so much trouble using Zoom? And Miles' line was, because we're at work. Awkward silence. Like, should we move on? Yes. So we pour this booze and we drink this booze because we think it's yummy.
Yummy.
So over the tongue and down the throat to party in our tummies.
Down the hola bijola.
The Men's Room presents Profile This.
And Steve Throw-Hill, could you please tell everyone how Profile This is played?
A short can, Miles. It's a simple game where we share with you a real-life news story. Something that happened right here on planet Earth. Earth. And as you listen to the story, based on the stereotypes you believe to be true of people and the decisions that people make, we'll ask you what it is you think makes the story a story. Hello, Anthony. Welcome to the Men's Room.
Hola, bitches.
Hola. All right, Anthony, you understand how this here game is played?
Yes, I do.
Fantastic. Today, you have your choice of one of three stories. We have Bite Me. In other words, what did someone find in their food? We have Animalize This, where you guess the animal responsible for causing the problem. And finally, Hit Me with Your Best Shot, where we will ask you to guess the unconventional weapon that someone chose to use as a weapon.
Let's go with Animalize This.
All right, here is the story. The search for a rodeo animal that has been missing for more than a week has the residents of a rural South Texas county enthralled as they're using horses, ATVs, even contemplating utilizing a helicopter to find the missing animal. So local businesses, they've donated nearly 90 prizes and gifts worth more than $5,000, including brisket, frescoes, salon service, as a reward for the person who finds the animal. Now, residents, including families, they've been scouring the cotton and sugarcane field since the animal escaped from the county's rodeo arena back on July 15th following a youth rodeo. Well, very recently, possible tracks were spotted in a cotton field in a town nearby. Now, when the animal first went missing, it did not have a name. But after a poll on the Livestock Show Facebook page, the animal has been named Willie, short for Willacy County. Now, while the animal has a name, officials are not sure if Willie is actually a boy or a girl. So the Livestock Show has been posting regular updates on its Facebook page. The search has also been a boon for the Livestock Show, as residents and businesses have donated hundreds of dollars to make improvements to the nonprofit's arena after they realized that animals can escape. But the question is, what is the rodeo animal that they're looking for? Is it a sheep? Is it a horse? Is it a bull? Or is it a goat? So sheep, horse, bull, or goat. One of those four animals is the one that escaped. They got this whole town excited because they have something to look for.
And what's his name again?
What did they named it after?
Willie?
Willie.
No.
Willie.
Yeah.
But it's after the county that this animal is.
I'm going to take Willie the goat, Anthony.
I'm going to take Willie the bull.
Willie the bull.
I think I'm with you, man. I like the idea that this is an actual bull just roaming around.
Okay. What is roaming around and still to this day in Texas? Is it a sheep, a horse, a bull, or a goat? We'll find out next.
That was a tease.
Hey there, everybody. I'm Melvin Robert from the TV show Extra. Every day on our show, we talk to the biggest celebrities and the biggest newsmakers around. We get exclusive details about hookups and breakups, baby news, and the behind-the-scenes info from your favorite TV shows and movies. But we can only fit so much on our show. That's where Extra the Podcast comes in. Listen and follow Extra the Podcast, an Odyssey podcast on the Odyssey app or wherever you get your podcast.
99.9 KISW. We return to the men's room with Miles and Thrill.
Categories Animalize this on Profile This. We have a rodeo animal. He's been on the loose for over a week in Texas. They've been looking for him all over the place. They got search, rescues, everything else.
Everything. It's like the whole town is loving this.
Yeah, he was part of a youth rodeo, and he escaped. Question is, what animal are they looking for? A sheep, a horse, a bull, or a goat?
And Anthony, that is the very question that we posed to you on these very airwaves. Let us start with, well, you and the Ted Smith. Both of you. You picked a bull. It was not a bull. Although I do like the idea of Wally the bull. For some reason, that just makes
Wally the bull.
Yep.
Miles, you went goat.
Yeah.
Correct.
And it's Willie.
Now this one's Wally.
Oh, it's Wally.
Hold on, let me double check.
Is it Willie or Wally?
It's Willie.
Yeah, it is Willie.
Willie the goat.
For Willacy County. Yeah.
Willacy County.
Willacy County. What you talking about, Willacy?
Now for all TV news all time, time for TV Time with Ted.
And now, because your pathetic life is confined to countless hours in front of a talking box, the Men's Room presents TV Time with Ted.
Had a long weekend. A lot of fun. There was a lot of stuff going on around town. I just wanted to give a couple quick acknowledgments. Number one, my guy Kaz. Matt, he was doing the commentary of the boat I was on. He used to fly for the Navy, went to the academy in Annapolis, and I just went up to shake his hand, say hello to him, and then we started BSing. Turns out he's lived out here for a while, fan of the Men's Room.
Nice.
Also Saturday, I ran into the Seafair Pirates. I don't know. I've got to talk to him, but we may see one of those. Actually, Kaz, I invited him and the Pirates to join us next Sunday, Miles, at Mike's Chili Bowl.
That's right.
All right.
4. Men's Room World Tour, stop number 4, 3 till 6 this Sunday.
3 to
at
6.
Mike's Chili Bowl in the back there.
Yeah, that'll be pretty cool.
If you can get the Pirates, man, that's a pull.
It is.
That's a good pull, right?
Well, they were all fans. I just happened to be sitting in a restaurant before I got on the boat, and they were just making their way downtown.
All right, okay.
So that was pretty cool. And then Sunday, Mike and I did get up to go fly with the parachute team of the Army Golden Knights. We got there. I had been up pretty late the night before watching soccer. We went through all the pre-flight stuff. They were very serious. I understand it. We were explaining to a friend of ours yesterday about how serious it was in the jump seats. You do not touch your seatbelt and everything. Like if your ears are going insane and about to pop, your head's about to burst, just wave at them. They'll help you out. And our friend said, "Why are they so serious?" And I said, "Because there's an open door on this plane."
That is a fair statement.
Come on, right?
Kind of a big deal.
Yeah, kind of just like, yeah, dude, because we're in a plane that has an open door on it. But unfortunately, with the clouds, the nights got shut down, and so did Mike and I. I know. What was our guy, Mike? Ryan. Yeah, shout out to Ryan. So now Mike is scared to death. I did not realize I was doing this to him. Yeah. I started talking to Ryan, and he said, actually, we do tandem jumps, too, with the team. He was because he's from Tacoma.
All right.
We YouTube some of his highlights. So he said, you guys have any interest? And I was like, yeah. And he was like, well, we do have weight requirements. I was like, all right, that's fair. I think it's 225 or whatever.
All right.
Because it's like tandem, but it's like also it's him, it's the gear. So we started talking about it, and I was like, well, hell yeah. Like, I'd get down for that or whatever. Ryan has already emailed us the form we could fill out.
That is correct.
But earlier today, I was in here, just Mike, me, and VD, and as Mike's pacing around, I didn't realize how deathly afraid he is.
Yes, I'm absolutely terrified.
Miles, are you going to go?
I will consider it, yes.
Come on, man.
Come on, Miles.
All you got to do is fall. You
know, for years, the only thing I talk about really being scared of is heights.
But here's the good news.
I mean, it's not that I'm scared of other things. It's just the fact that is the number one.
But you're constantly getting closer to a manageable altitude. It's the beauty of free falling through the air, Miles.
Don't worry.
You're scared to be high, but you plummet really quickly. So you get lower and lower. So therefore, in theory, you should be less scared as the planet is approaching you.
Ryan assured me yesterday as we were talking to him, because Miles, you and I share the same fear. I don't like heights. I also don't like the feeling of falling. And he says, neither do I. I'm actually terrified of heights. I don't like roller coasters because of that gut feeling that you get. But he talked about when you jump out of a plane, you're still moving at the speed of the plane, so you're actually falling forward. So it's a much more gradual feeling. So
and
if you don't,
down.
So yeah, exactly. So it's a completely different feeling. So you got nothing to worry about, Miles.
Sure, that feeling of being high, which is what I don't like.
When he explained it, though, it didn't seem nearly as scary, and it's right. It was kind of funny. He was like, look, I don't really like heights either. That's just what I do and stuff. But yeah, he was from here and talked about he would listen to the show on the app or tape delayed or whatever when he was in Afghanistan and stuff. So that was pretty cool.
Let's go.
I say we do it, man.
Oh, yeah.
Because when people say, what's the worst that can happen? You go, we know the worst that can happen. It's self-explanatory. We jumped out of a plane. You can guess the worst thing. Actually, you know the worst thing that can happen.
Well, we make the news.
You jump out of the plane and then a wing hits you.
Well, the other scary thing is that...
But don't even think about it, Mike.
The weight requirement is just for the reserve chute. We were like, what? He's like, yeah. It's that reserve chute you got to worry about.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. But either way, if the Army, if the official parachute team of the Army wants to take us up, I say we go.
Hell yeah, man. I'm in.
Now, speaking of America and stuff like that, I did get up. I tried to stay up to watch the whole game. I watched the first 10 minutes of that women's soccer game. And I'm not going to lie, I blatantly went to sleep for a couple hours. I get back up. The game is in like the 80th minute. I said, well, I timed this out well. Then we had extra time. Then we went to penalty kicks. But the United States women's national team did end up losing.
If she scores, Sweden wins. The U.S. is out. Hartig. Off there. Did it go in? Waiting on the signal. Wow. Sweden wins.
I won't lie, when I watched that live, I was not positive that ball actually went in.
Yeah, I saw the replay of it, and I get it. In real time, it would be really hard to know, but they made the right call. But yes, in real time, if you're supporting the U.S., you probably threw your hands up like, cool, it didn't go in. If you're Sweden, you're like, cool, it went in. And in the end, Sweden was right.
And the U.S. had twice, two different separate times to put that thing away and win it. And they did not. They also just didn't score a goal. They scored in that first game against Vietnam, I believe. And then they didn't score in the run of play since then. They scored some PKs. I mean, I'm not a big fan of that coach. I think also this is what happens with national teams. I think we've seen it with the men's team. But there's some players who are still good, but they've just gotten a little old for the national team.
Yes.
And some of those players, even though they're the bigger names, somebody, either the coach or whoever's running that program has to be the one to step up and go, okay, we're done with them. We need to work on these. We need these younger people, and we need to have an identity of what that team is. Man, I watched almost every game they played in. I can't tell you what the identity of that team is and how they actually play because they're
not scoring goals.
Right, they couldn't score a goal.
Right, I mean, honestly, God, that's right. I'm not insulting them. It's like, but that when you at this point in the World Cup, that's your identity leaving now. Like you said, we had a game where you did it, then after that you did not score, so that becomes your identity.
Yeah, and the World Cup's still going on if you want to check that out, the Women's World Cup. I know a lot of people are watching that still as
watch you some lady ball. International lady ball.
Lady ball.
Lady Terps. All right, so this is a pretty good list here. Basically, they asked people, like, hey, if you could erase a show from your memory because you wanted to rewatch it completely, what are some of the shows you would ask about or you'd want to erase from your memory? So we got a list here of a lot of them. I've seen about 5 to 6 of them. Let's see. Number 1 on the list, they said X-Files.
Yeah, I'd rewatch that. It's a little dated now, but it was a massive show when I was in my early to mid-20s, and I loved it, man.
Well, there's something out there.
There is something out there.
Also,
and trust no one.
X-Files isn't that interesting anymore because now it's like, yeah, aliens are real.
See, that's the whole thing. So, or at least the UFOs were looking. So, yeah, the basic overarching premise of the show is that there's subtle alien invasion going on. Other things happen in other shows, but that was always kind of the far-reaching thing. And no one believes in UFOs. Well, yeah, now Congress is like, well, we can't talk about aliens, but we certainly acknowledge UFOs.
Stranger Things makes the list.
Oh, yeah, I've enjoyed that show thoroughly.
I mean, I think it also depends on how long it's been since you've watched something.
Yes.
Like I would put Seinfeld on this list, right?
I would put Curb Your Enthusiasm. And Saturday Night Live. And I know that sounds crazy, but still.
Yeah. Just to rewatch
just with all the different cast members and all the people that came in and all the different skits and sketches. And you forget half of them, even if it's like MacGruber or whatever the deal is.
But that's also what I'm saying. I think it depends on time. Mm-hmm. It's like Seinfeld... Like, I can't really, like, I still will watch them.
Yeah.
But, I mean, I had seen every episode of that series probably 3 or 4 times.
Sure.
But there's some things, right, like like, I could go back and watch, like, some of the shows on this list because I only watched them the one time. Right. And then also, like, so for, like, Stranger Things, that's a newer show. I see why that's on the list because it's still pretty fresh in everybody's brain.
That is a good point. Right.
Twin Peaks is on there.
I never got into that show.
I've never watched the show, but I've enjoyed a beverage and some food there.
I have done the same thing, yes.
Dexter makes the list. I never watched that, but I watched the final episode. It's a girl I was dating at the time, liked it, and I said, this is very confusing. She was like, you're just watching the last episode. I was like, all right, whatever. Let's see. A comedy makes the list with The Office.
All right. Yeah, I'd rewatch that one.
Yeah, I would too, and I don't know. Like, I kind of fell off towards the end of it.
Sure.
Right? Steve Carell's gone. There's all these, but like The Office was super funny, and that's another one too. Like, they're only half hour. Like, I say just go back and watch it. You don't need
And they had a unique approach, at least as far as the states go, to how they did comedy.
So now we'll get into the top 10. These are lists people want to erase these shows for their memories so they can rewatch them fresh. The Sopranos.
Okay.
Again, that one has been so long. I think I could rewatch that because I don't really remember episode to episode.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And it's a great show.
It was. It was very annoying there, though, the last season or two.
Well, same with Seinfeld.
You think?
The last season was not great, and then the last episode was not good.
The ending of Seinfeld sucked, but I thought that last season was great.
Okay.
Has a show done a finale where people were genuinely happy? It just seemed like I watched Lost, right? Top to bottom. And I got no problem telling you, like the last season, certainly the last episode, stupid.
While I didn't get it as a kid, I think the way Newhart ended was pretty funny because it just goes back to the Bob Newhart show, and he wakes up with the original wife, and he's like, "Hey, it was all a dream."
Yeah,
he's like, "I run an inn in Vermont."
Yeah, I was like, that's pretty clever.
Like, right, as a child though, I didn't understand it because I only knew him from Newhart show. So that one was pretty good. Let's see, Futurama makes the list. Mr. Robot, Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
Okay.
I never really watched that show, but I did see the movie. It was a massive movie.
I think my wife watched the show before we got together, but I'm pretty sure. In fact, she had to, because anytime there's any reference to it, she can tell you the character, the season it happened, blah, blah, blah.
Well, Buffy the Vampire Slayer is another one of those kind of strange shows where, like, I mean, like, you saying your wife watched it, because me and her are about the same age, I'm like, that makes sense. But you'd be shocked. I mean, I know dudes my age that love Buffy the Vampire Slayer, the show. Yeah, because it's like, it was good, but also it's sci-fi and enough for the nerds.
If it makes you feel better, she's 6 years older than you.
Is she really? Oh. Why do you mean? I'm just like, I thought she was.
Oh, God.
For some reason, I thought we were around the same age.
Yeah.
Damn. Arrested Development makes the list.
I never watched that show.
It's pretty damn good.
I'm sure I would like it. I just never watched it.
They loved it enough for the fans got it back.
It is. And that's another one of those shows, too. Like, it's so weird and stuff. Like, you could just pop into an episode. You don't need to know, like, all the characters. Community makes the list, which makes sense. That was a very good show, but only lasted, 3 or 4 seasons.
That was about it. I never watched that one either. I've seen a few episodes here and there, but I never really just sat down and dedicated myself to it.
And then number 3 on the list, again, these are shows people like to erase for their memories so they could rewatch them fresh. The Haunting of Hill House. I mean, you live it, brother.
I know. I'm like, really? You have to say Hill House. Hill House. That's my house. Did you watch any of that?
I did not. I mean, it's got haunting in the title.
It would terrify.
Yeah, that's why I'm like.
I mean, there were some scenes where I'm like, I'm a little disturbed. And I usually don't get moved too much one way or another, but I'm like, that is messed up. Why does it have to be the Hill House?
Now, the final 2 on the list, I agree with both of them. Number 2 on the list, The Wire.
Okay.
And honestly, I've got to ease up on season 2's hate. I always hate on season 2. I need to back up off that.
Yeah. By the way, my wife just checked in with the text. I can't read it exactly, but maybe you can string it together. F all of you.
The Wire, the number 1 on the list. Mike, you're exactly correct. It's your show that you got me into. Breaking Bad.
Wow. Okay.
Miles Thrill, have you watched that show yet?
No, I haven't.
Get on the doggone show.
I'll do it after I watch All American.
Oh, no, you won't. Look, All American's good. I would recommend Breaking Bad over that right away. I just rewatched that entire series because I was on a flight 2 months ago. My buddy had it on there. The first 2, 3, 4 episodes of that show are unreal. Yes. Like there's a couple. Season 3 it gets a little slower. And Miles, I know it's an hour-long show, so you gotta kind of commit to it. But there is so much action in that first season that I think you would get into it pretty easy.
You know, it's funny. My kid, he has recently discovered Malcolm in the Middle. All right, and he always wants to watch it with me, so I'm like, fine, we can watch Malcolm in the Middle. And I'm looking at Bryan Cranston. I just keep looking at my kid like, you have no idea. The next time you see this guy, your mind's going to be blown because he was such a goofball on that show.
Well, and he's such a likable human being.
Sure.
But honestly, like Mike and I talk about it, like I don't really like Walter White. It's like that list we had last week, and they were like, "Oh, 2 of the best friends are Walter White, Jesse Pinkman." It's like Jesse did not like him, and Walter White treated him like a piece of crap. Yeah, so it was just right. He was just kind of bouncing him around. But hey, if you got Netflix, you can start watching Breaking Bad tonight.
Yeah. Thank you, Ted. We appreciate it. You're listening to The Men's Room.
So, I just got the State Farm Personal Price Plan on my car insurance.
So you told your agent you play the bagpipes for your dog?
What? No, I didn't get that personal. My agent just helped me create an affordable price just for me. Okay, let me show you what I've been working on. Hey, Buster!
Call State Farm agent Sierra Belleville in Bellingham today.
Prices vary by state. Options selected by customer. Availability and eligibility may vary.
Room returns with Miles and Thrill. Now, let's see what's happening in the real world.
All right, here we go. A burglar takes a break from robbing a home to hang out with a family dog. Meanwhile, triathlon athletes hit the water to swim, and hey, there is a floating log. Seems like the Juanita Chip Company is now selling edible brooms. Wife is buried beside man who never spent any time in her womb. And a dog driving a golf cart runs over a 4-year-old. It's time for your headlines.
Now, it's time to hit the headlines. Here's my car.
Our top story, we go to the UK, where a few triathlon competitors have seen better days. We did cover this a little bit earlier today. 57 of the 2,000 competitors alerted officials that they had fallen ill, believing the competition to be the cause of their nausea and diarrhea. Part of the race was a swim at a local beach, and the waters were tested before the race, but the results weren't given to the board until after the race had concluded.
Oh, come on.
If they had gotten in earlier, they would have seen that there was a 39 times higher... that there was 39 times the average amount of E. coli cultures in the water. This resulted in the uncomfortable conditions for the racers.
Uncomfortable? You gave them diarrhea, man.
Right. It was like, what was it, like a sewage leak had gotten into the water or something like that? There was legit gray water in there, man.
That's awful.
Yeah, enjoy that.
If a triathlon wasn't bad enough.
I know.
Right. And 39 times, there's E. coli cultures everywhere, no matter where it's a germ. It's out there, okay? 39 times higher.
That's bad.
This is diseased water. And the fact that you didn't get the results until after the race.
Then what's the point?
Right. What are we doing?
Right. What is the point of that then?
Like, we do these tests because things don't go according to plan a lot of the time. We get it. 99 times out of 100, you take that test, everything's going to be just all hunky-dory.
Sure.
You're right. This is not the corner to cut.
Right, man. Get the results in.
Damn, man. Speaking from somebody who got fired for cutting that corner. In other news, to the lovely world of the internet, where someone cut some out of place packaging. The picture comes from the shelves of a store where someone grabbed a photo of a broom that was on the wall for sale. But the interesting thing that caught their eye was the packaging on the broom had a nutrition chart printed on it. But it doesn't take long to figure out the reason. The broom was wrapped in a plastic bag of Juanita's tortilla chips.
Aha.
As to how the mix-up happened remains a mystery, but it was good for a laugh online. It looks a little bit trashy seeing it up there, man. Well, now, I love Juanitas. I will buy Juanitas. That is my tortilla chip. But
would you eat their broom?
You know what? I would eat their broom.
Wait, what part of the factory do you sweep? If it's the chip factory, I'm good for a few bristles, brother.
And their chips are so good. I mean, I bet they'd make a great broom.
That's what I'm saying.
Dude. And actually, I was reading on the story that there are some brooms that actually use the corn husk for the.
Yeah.
I did not know that. So I wonder if it's in the same doggone factory. Like, hey, we make corn chips. Let's make brooms too. That may actually be a legitimate thing.
It could be
that they are making brooms in there. Just got on the wrong.
Also, Mike, update on broom at my house. We found the dustpan.
All right, we got the dustpan.
Yep.
Where was it, Ted? Was it in an obvious place?
It was in the bathroom underneath my sink in there.
Okay. You know what? That's a hidden place. That's all right.
Yep.
You got that, man. We go to Nebraska for a lackluster theft. Police were called to a local Walmart on a report that one of their scooters had been taken off the premises. Luckily, they didn't need to go far to find it, as they found it stopped at a nearby highway intersection. And the one who made off with it was in the Casey's branch that it was stopped at. Authorities arrested the thief, and he's being charged.
So smart.
Right. I don't get where your head's at with that. Like, I get it, hell yeah, we all love that convenient little buzzer coaster, and it did not go that far at all.
Right.
It was basically across the, kitty corner across the street, but it's a Walmart parking lot, so it's massive, so it had all that room that it had to go on. I think there was like one more strip mall that it had to go by, then cross the doggone highway to get over to Casey's, which I've never been to Casey's, but if it's that good.
That good, man.
Right. And you know that they got trackers on them, or they got some sort of
something.
Hell, if they can stop the shopping carts a certain distance away, they know what they're doing with their doggone scooters. Down to Florida, where the business of death has taken another hit. For the second time in a year, a deceased woman has been laid to rest in the wrong place. Earlier this summer, headlines ran that a woman's casket was placed in the crypt of a man that was not her husband, who was a couple spaces over. Now, the story that's just come out, the past widow of a veteran was supposed to be cremated and mixed with the cremated remains of her late husband. But it's come forth that she was mixed with the wrong remains.
Oh, man, everything was just screwed up there.
She just swimming with some rando there.
Who are you? I don't know.
That's kind of a big screw up, it seems like.
It is.
Yeah.
Seems like a fairly simple request. You should get that one right.
And that's the whole thing. The family declined to comment to the media, and the mortuary's given the usual statement of it not being their common practices. Yeah, the family doesn't want to comment.
We know it's not your common practice.
Right.
They're saying you effed up. If it were your common practice, the family wouldn't be complaining.
Well, and they give the usual statement of, like, when they bring their loved ones to our facilities, they give us a certain level of trust and blah blah blah.
Right.
Right, and the trust has been broken. We literally just wanted you to do this one thing.
And then you didn't.
But
you charged us for it.
Like, what are we doing? That's why I looked at my wife when I was writing up that story. I was like, when I die, dude, cremate me and just spread me in some random area. Like, don't mess with this stuff, man. I don't want to be involved in all that.
You probably find out, man, ended up being her dog's ashes.
Just gave her a bag of ashes.
We don't know where Mike is.
Like, at that point, put me in the friggin' compost bin. I don't care, man.
Right.
You don't have to worry about what you're doing with me after I'm gone, all right?
Good news.
Yeah, there you go. Where's Mike? In the compost bin.
We can do a lot of stuff to you.
Whole lot.
That's it for your headlines. With that, Mike Hawk is out.
Thank you, sir. We appreciate it. Lovely Taryn Daly is up next. We'll see Taryn tomorrow for Sit and Spin.
Yes, indeed. It's all true. But in the meantime, well, we be all up about this bitch for 180 seconds or so. So until then, please do what you do best. And for Aletha's sake, stay beautiful.
The Men's Room has been taped before a live studio audience. Wardrobe and makeup provided by Mantastic Limited. This has been a presentation of the Men's Room Radio Network. Oh, man! A Double Flush production.
When it comes to personal style, it's all about layers, especially now. Add layers to your fall style with new colors, fabrics, and styles from Indochino. Go to Indochino.com and use code PODCAST to get 10% off any purchase $3.99 or more.